I'm a gun-toting patriot, God-fearing patriot. Bryson, why they mad? Cause I'm real and they be faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun-toting, Bible reading, God believing, truth speaking, American. This MAGA season, Democrats committing treason. I know they think it's sweet, but you don't know who you dealing with. This for free thinkers only. You ain't got no membership. They free General Flint out the cage, cause he innocent. Barton Roger Stone, cause the world know that he innocent. We need to kick out every single illegal immigrant. Mandatory voter ID laws we need to implement. Tell Justin Smollett that I know this MAGA country. Tell China we know they.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
All right. Let me know if you can hear me good. I can hear Jimmy good.
Skinny says hi.
Oh, how cute.
It's cold here tonight. It's cold here tonight in North Carolina, so she's having to come up here where the heater's at and everything. So, yep.
Oh, cute. I am so glad to see you here, Jimmy. How was your week?
Busy. Crazy.
Yep. All right. I am going to quickly say hello to everybody in the chat. We got John Marciano, King of Dots, Rosie, Eric. Hi, Eric. He says, who's ready to shake and bake?
I'm ready to bake.
Yep. You and King Tony. We got Polish Spaghetti Mama. I think she is a new person in the chat, maybe from Jimmy's channel, because we're streaming on both of our channels.
Yeah, you may get some new folks in here tonight. I was actually, a dude reached out to me a little while ago on Facebook and told him what we do and everything. And I said, hey, we're going to be going live. If you want to hear some of the stuff we talk about, here's the link. So maybe him and some others will show up.
Okay, awesome. We have Jane Spitfire. Hi, Jane. Lisa Sands. Hello. Beverly. Greetings.
Hey, Lisa. Lisa's from my channel.
Oh, okay. You recognize Lisa? Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Polish Spaghetti Mama agrees with you that it's freezing in North Carolina.
Yes, it is. It's cold.
Cold in Georgia, too. I mean, it's only 68 degrees in Florida where I'm at. And it feels nice.
It's like 30-something here.
Oh, wow. Hey, Michelle. Michelle's in the chat. Yo, Michelle, I forgot to text you if you wanted to join us. Because Michelle we had a great conversation the other day, and we saw her Facebook, and she has really great points. And I want Michelle, if you are interested, consider joining our panel. All you have to do is click the link at the top of the chat. And if anybody else wants to join, definitely click that link and join us. But I love Michelle and her viewpoints, even though we may disagree on Trump. But, I'm open-minded enough to hear criticism about Trump and, certain things that is considered not good or America first or whatever. We're going to talk about it tonight. Hi, Gigi. He says, I am not here. I am a psyop.
Gigi is a psyop.
I love Gigi. I love Gigi. Hi, Joseph. He says, hello, let's keep winning, and more winning. Doge has received executive orders that all agencies of the federal government must work with Doge.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get into that.
Yes, we will.
And for the folks, go ahead. I was going to say, and for the folks that are watching this maybe for the first time on my channel, you guys are going to see a different side of me. Again, I'm fighting two wars, one against Watchtower and one against the information war and the deep state and all that. So again, you may not agree with some of my political leanings, and that's fine. But please, like I said last week, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So just saying.
Right. Yep. I love this version of Jimmy. It brings out I think it brings out most of the good parts in all of us because we actually get, even if you disagree with Jimmy, you still hop on here and say something. You know what I mean? Like you provoke that in people. And I like that.
Oh, yeah. Like I told my wife a second ago, I said, well, we're getting ready to go live. I said, I wonder what kind of people we're going to get in the comments tonight. And I said, which doesn't bother me because it does engage conversation. It does engage debate. And I like doing that. I will do it respectfully as long as the other folks are respectful too. Once you cross that line, then I'm done.
Agreed. We have another Tony in the chat. Hi, Tony with a Y. Let's see who else is here. Shaq Composer is here. Hello, Shaq. Sherry D. Hi, Sherry. Thrifty. Awesome. We got the gang here.
Oh my God. Somebody asked me if I'm a Democrat now. My daddy called me a Democrat.
Yep.
That's a funny
We have
video.
Jamwatt in the chat. Welcome. That's a newcomer. Welcome.
I took a bath this morning, King of Dots. Some of these things, man. Hello to
It's
Jimmy.
me, Good Citizen, LOL. Do you know who Good Citizen is?
That's the guy I was talking about a little while ago. He sent me a friend request.
Okay.
He sent me a friend request, and I told him, I said, hey, I appreciate the friend request. However, your name's not familiar to me. So can you please let me know how you know me? And then there was a pause, and then he eventually told me he was XJW and some other stuff. But he says, I almost hesitated about responding. And I said, well, if you would have done that, I wouldn't have approved you. So we had a good conversation. He invited me to another Facebook group and or Facebook chat, and I'm looking forward to engaging with those guys on there as well.
Awesome. Okay. We got JG in the comments. Hello to Jimmy's Tabby. Tony, come visit Australia. Much warmer. Oh, wow. We got Australia in the chat.
I'd love to visit Australia. And remember, folks, we start off slow, but we get going.
Yes, I like to do introductions and welcome everybody. And until I reach the last person. So if you want to shout out, comment right now. Because once I reach the end of it, I'm like, okay, Jimmy, I got a million questions for you since last Tuesday. After you do the introductions and everything, can we do a quick update on Operation Spotlight? Sure, go ahead.
Oh, did you want to do that now? I didn't know if you were done with introductions.
Let me scroll down. Let me see who else is in the chat. If there's anybody new, I'll say hello. Oh, Empath Lady. She's here. Hi.
Yay.
Okay, let's see who else. All right, I think that's it. Oh, Stephanie from Steph Woke Up is here. Hi, Steph.
Nice. Let's get over 100 live viewers on the chat tonight, everybody.
Oh, that would be crazy. We're at 49 right now.
We're fun.
Okay, Jimmy, go ahead. We are ready for an update.
Oh my Lord, this light did not charge. Damn it. Oh well, let's use the other one. Okay, turn that one off, turn the other one on. Sorry, guys. Okay, so we're gonna go with this light and see how long this one lasts. So Operation Spotlight is going very well. I got word last night that a lady named Rose in Washington State sent out 147 emails to the state representatives in both the House and the Senate in Washington State. She also informed me that she sent 12 letters by email to members of Washington State that are in Congress and in the Senate at the U.S. at the federal level. So that's good. So yay, thank you so much for doing that. The videos are out. This week I introduced a cover letter. So if you haven't seen the cover letter, go back and watch the video on that. The reason the cover letter is there is for those who want to send their letter to any government official. And even if you're in another country, you can fill out that letter, the cover letter, and you can put the name and the country, state. You can scratch that out or whatever and put in whatever country you're in. And then go ahead and send that along with the main letter of Operation Spotlight to President Trump. So, and for those, again, for those who have a problem with sending it to President Trump, you can send it to anybody you want to as a government official. Send it to your favorite mayor, your governor. I don't care. Just get the letter out. And that's all I care about. I am going to be sending a letter to Nancy Mace, representative from South Carolina, because she was on the floor yesterday talking about how she had experienced sexual abuse at the hands of her husband and 3 other individuals. And she said on the floor that anybody that's ever had to deal with that, you have a friend and a sister in me. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, yeah, she needs to get a letter too. So Nancy Mace is going to get an Operation Spotlight letter. So it's going very well. I think I can go ahead and safely say, I did it last week. I said we were about 200, but since then I've had a lot more messages. So I'm thinking anywhere between, well, shoot, she sent out 147, 350 to 400 maybe now.
Wow.
That's including emails. So I think just letters going in, I think we might be at 250, 300. So somewhere in that area. I don't know for sure, but the information is getting out there. So if you don't know about Operation Spotlight, go to my YouTube channel. Oh, wait, you're watching it now, maybe.
Yes.
Go to the live tab and you'll see all the videos for Operation Spotlight with the instructions and what the whole plan behind what we're doing is there. So thank you for everyone that's already participated, and thank you in advance to those that will.
Awesome. That's a great update. I love hearing that it's moving, we were able to participate in something that is moving, and who knows where it's going to go, whose hands it's going to end up being in, who's going to read it. I'm just excited that I was just a part of it, so whatever comes out of it would be a blessing, that's a plus.
Yeah. I keep checking the Operation Spotlight email, just hoping to get a response from somebody that's in a position somewhere. I'm still waiting for that. It hasn't happened yet, but once it does, I'll let everybody know.
Yeah. And I did find a typo on page 3 of the letter. So I was gonna edit it myself, with my pen or something. But it's still a good letter. You know what I mean? The meat of the letter is what we really want for somebody to start something, an investigation or an inquiry or something that we can move the needle into exposing Watchtower for what they really are doing. Just like how we want to expose the deep state, and we talk about psyops and false flags, and we talk about how to drain the swamp. How do we find out what's real or fake or any of those things? It's the exact same thing with Watchtower. They're really no different. I view them the exact same way.
They are.
And that's I believe
that. They are.
I believe it, even though it's scary to me that, we were in the lion's den almost, we used to go to Bethel all the time. And now that I think about it, I feel like, who knows what was happening underground, with those tunnels, because the tunnels exist. And I didn't even know that until recently. Somebody did a video on that. I didn't know that. I was
Excuse me for a second. I'm going to plug up this bigger light. And so just
okay,
give me a second.
Okay, go ahead. I will check the comments. Gigi's in the chat giving us a lot of good information. Breaking news. He likes to be my little banner in the bottom. Breaking news caught on tape. EPA advisor admits agency hastily allocated billions in climate change funds before Trump took office. I don't know anything about that. So Gigi, that's interesting.
Yeah, wait till all that stuff starts getting exposed.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much more that's going to be exposed. People are going to lose their damn minds.
Yep. He also says, breaking, President Trump fires USAID Inspector General, a Biden holdover. And we did talk about that in the last Tuesday. I love how they're shutting it down and investigating. But when they said that they want to do an audit in the Pentagon, I think it was, there was a lot of jokes online saying well, the last time that happened, a freaking missile went into it. Well, I mean, sorry, I don't want to get I do not want to get suspended here, but allegedly it was a plane that crashed in the Pentagon on 9/11 as well.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I gotta be careful here because I'm still on probation. But yeah, I mean, like, what do we do when these deep state puppets are not gonna go out without a fight, and they would fight to the death for it? You know, like they're not gonna just give it up easily. It's
Well,
like a yeah.
That's what I've told everybody, and I've been telling everybody that for over a year now. Well, a little longer than that. It's if you catch somebody robbing a bank and the police pull up, that bank robber is going to run. He's going to get in his car. There may be a car chase. There may be a shootout. The dude is not going to give up until he's forced to give up.
Right.
And unfortunately, you know, it's not like he's going to come out of the bank. Oh, you guys caught me. I'm done. You know, handcuffed. No, he's going to try to get away with it and fight every step of the way. And that's exactly the route, unfortunately, that the deep state chose. They were given a choice, but they refused to just give up. So we're going to have to expose them.
Right. I mean, that's why I put Kash Patel's name in the title so that I don't forget him and his promises that he's making. He promises to release Epstein lists. He promises to, you know, really move forward with taking them down, which I agree with. Did they confirm him yet already? I haven't been keeping up.
Not yet. They've been postponing his confirmation for a while now.
Okay, there was a video of him, and I'm sure you've seen it since you keep tabs. But there was a video of him explaining how to take down the deep state, and I think it was in an interview similar to what you said last time when he was talking. Let me see if I can find it. I should have had this ready.
While you're looking for hey, Rosie, I did mention the cover letter that folks can send to officials for Operation Spotlight. I did that a little while ago.
Yep. Okay, okay, right. Oh no, that's the interview. That's the whole interview. Dang it. I had like a clip of him talking about how to end the deep state, and I bookmarked it, and now it is lost in my bookmarks.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Oh, crap.
Oh, man. Let me see if I can just put it here. Okay. Bookmarks. I find it very interesting that oh, sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
I was going to just respond to Beverly. She said waiting for Pam B, Kash, and Bobby. Pam has already been confirmed. Yeah, Pam Bond, she's already been confirmed.
Okay. Oh my goodness, I can't find it. Okay, well, I think he's the good. He's like a good guy for what we need him for. You know what I mean? Like, I think.
Well, it's kind of funny because, again, for folks that don't know me and watching this for the first time, I do talk about Q. So there's that. So there was a Q post that did mention, and it said, "Remember this name, Kash Patel." And that was back in, I think, 2018 or 2019. So Q had mentioned that we should remember the name Kash Patel. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that really is. I don't know. I feel like either they are planning it themselves, which is why they know it, or they make the prophecy come true. Like in their world. Or
there's Project Looking Glass. I don't know if you've ever looked into that.
I haven't. What is it?
Oh, I'm not even going to try to explain it. We'll have to talk about that later.
Okay,
but yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole.
Okay, I'm gonna have to write that down in my notes. Oh, talking about conspiracy theories.
There you go. I know where you're going.
Yeah, I wanted to play this clip one more time to remind everybody about this theory that we talked about last Tuesday. And I said, I think Jimmy and King Tony did a little bit of their homework, and they might know more about this than me. So I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this.
So we're starting with conspiracies first, huh?
Yeah, we need to do a little bit of conspiracy theory. We need to explore a little bit. All right, Jimmy. So I am interested in finding out, what do you know about that conspiracy theory? And I did not do any homework at all. So I am a fresh open mind.
There's some things that come up and I just look at it. And I just sit back and I'm just like, okay, what is this about? So for those that may have not caught it in the video, apparently there was a book written back in 1896, I think it was, somewhere around that time, by a guy named Ingersoll Lockwood. And it was The Adventures of Baron. Is that the title of it? The Adventures of Baron?
Yes, the Adventures. Yeah, Adventures of Baron, something like that.
Yeah, so the story is that this kid, Baron, he has all these adventures, and he lives in a big high rise, and his guy that looks over him is Don. Okay.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Baron Trump. Yeah, it was The Adventures of Baron Trump. And so he lives in his big hotel looking building. His what do you want to call him? His guy that helps him out. His name is Don, and he goes down different tunnels and different things and has all these adventures. And then there was another book that was put out by the same guy called The Last President, which is a continuation of The Adventures of Baron Trump story. So, it's been said, allegedly, that time travel is real. Now, do I believe that? I don't know. Is it possible? Who knows? Nikola Tesla was working on stuff like that. And we know that Nikola Tesla's work was taken over by John G. Trump, the uncle of Donald Trump. So who knows? It's one of those things out there that you're just like, what the fuck? So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing.
Okay. So I don't know if we can. I don't know. Maybe it's just me trying to give the benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe it's just a coincidence that the titles say what they say, and they're trying to connect the dots when you're reaching too far. Sometimes people can do that. So I don't know. I sometimes think that it can just be a coincidence that the names were the same or similar, or the title says Last President. It doesn't necessarily mean that that's supposed to be connecting, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I don't believe in coincidences, but I just think, can they happen? Yeah, sure they can. There can be just coincidences. But here lately, over the last couple of years, there's just been way too many. How many coincidences do there need to be before it becomes mathematically impossible?
Right. That can be one point.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So moving on to a conspiracy theory that might, it gives me the only reason that I can actually agree with Jimmy's position is how that Malaysian flight disappeared in the middle of nowhere in the sky. And when we saw the video, it, three things are circling around and then poof, it's gone, right? What's that? Like how Mr. M said in the chat, time travel, no, but maybe portals. Okay, see, I can.
Yeah, there could be portals. Yeah.
Okay. So
I see that.
what if? Yeah. So what if it just poofed into another portal? And then I used to be so so obsessed with the show that was exactly about that. Her plane disappeared, but 5 years later, it came back into the airspace and they landed as if nothing happened, like the time didn't pass for them. I forgot what that TV show is called. If anybody in the chat knows,
It was just
that
on
show.
here recently, wasn't it? Like in the last couple of years, right?
Yeah, it was very recent show. She was blonde.
Yeah, my wife watched it. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, I used to be obsessed with that show. And for the real world, everybody moved 5 years, but for them it was like an hour. Like it didn't mean anything. I could see that happening. But you see, when TV shows come out like this and you talk about predictive programming all the time, that's what makes me believe something is possible that they're showing us in these shows. And then people connect the dots like this theory. It might be true.
Speaking of predictive programming, did you see the commercial during the Super Bowl that had, oh God, what's that dude's name that was on SNL and married to a Kardashian or dated a Kardashian? Little goofy guy. Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
And it was like they were at Area 51 and he said something about, oh, there's aliens. I mean, he says, at least the famous ones are. I'm like, did he just say that? Did they just play that? So
at least the famous ones are what? Aliens?
Aliens.
What does he mean by that?
See if you can find the commercial Pete Davidson. Yeah, look for Pete Davidson commercial halftime show or Super Bowl.
Okay, hold on. Let me do
Because that's pretty good. If you can find that, that'd be good to play.
Pete Davidson.
I can't remember what product they were talking about. Does anybody in the chat know? Let's see.
Super Bowl commercial. Let's see if I can find it. So on YouTube, nothing pops up for me in my algorithm. Let me try the regular internet. Pete Davidson Super Bowl commercial. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, with Gordon Ramsay?
Yes, that one. Play that.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Now my internet is lagging. They don't want us to see this commercial. And it's always my computer whenever we get into something deep like this. Okay, I think I found it. And that show was called Manifest. Thank you, Michelle. That was the show. It was called Manifest.
Yeah, Manifest. Yep, that was it.
I love that show. But then when I saw that Malaysian flight, I was like, oh my God, maybe that's what happened to these people and they're still alive.
We've made contact with a new alien species, and apparently they're foodies.
Oh, foodies. The worst.
Mr. Ramsey, we'll need you to cook for them. You'll have access to everything the Area 51 test kitchen has to offer, including top secret alien cooking technology.
Wait, that's just a Hexlab pan. I've got these at home.
Unfortunately, it was leaked 8 years ago. The pan was developed using material from an alien spacecraft.
What?
Extremely durable, but low friction. Created to deal with a thick egg-like atmosphere.
You're saying the pan I used to fry my bacon is made out of flying saucers?
We don't have time for a science lesson, Mr. Ramsey. The alien ambassador is already here.
Whoa.
Not her. Him.
Hey, what's up, dude? You're an alien?
All famous people are aliens.
I'm not.
I meant like really famous people.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah. Huh?
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
At least the famous people.
But like the really, really famous people, not just any celebrity. Wow. And he also said that he's an alien too, right?
Yeah.
That's weird. Yeah, that's weird.
See, there's just too much of that. Men in Black, V, not V for Vendetta, but the Series V back in the 80s. There was a little bit of that in 2009 to 2011. They tried to bring it back, but there's just too much of that stuff out there that it's hard to ignore it. It's hard not to talk about it.
Wow, no, I didn't see the Super Bowl. I don't even own a TV. I don't have no TV, no cable, no nothing. And I didn't watch it on the internet either. I have some comments that I wanted to bring up. I started. Joe and Fran are in the chat. Hey guys, they said we received a thank you from a senator for one in the mail. So they sent the letter, and they got a response.
Joe and Fran, can y'all produce that thank you card and send me a picture of it?
Yeah, that's amazing. Please. And Butterfly Queen 62 is in the chat. She says, I sent my letter today. So I just wanted to bring those two up.
Thank you. Thank you for sending your letter. I really do appreciate that.
Yes, that's very nice. Oh, Mr. M. I love Mr. M. He says he means demon possession. I agree with both.
Yeah, I can see that.
It can be both because they are behind closed doors, Satan worshipers, in my opinion. And I could believe that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yep. Okay.
You really have to have an open mind to watch our show.
Yes.
Because we're going to take you out there.
Yep. In the future of the show, I might just have to do an intro that introduces us and our viewpoints and our stances before we even get into it, so that we don't have to keep repeating ourselves. I'll just have me with like a skit of all my crazy stuff that I say, and then you with all your theories and beliefs.
Yeah, because because when I'm putting stuff out on Facebook, I'm trying to put out stuff that is factually true. You can go look it up. You can dive for it on your own. And you can find out that, hey, yeah, what Jimmy just said here on his Facebook page, okay, that's pretty legit. Okay, and I do that because I want factual information. I don't talk a lot of conspiracy stuff on my pages because I just want to give out good information. On this show, it's like me and Ruby are sitting around having a beer and just talking.
Yes.
And we talk about everything.
Right. Very casually and just to hang out and have fun. But if King Tony joins later on, she wants to debate me on DEI publicly. We had the debate earlier, but I told her, listen, this is great to talk about it live so that people can actually see, because a lot of people agree with both of our stances. I mean, I don't want to say nobody's right or wrong. It's just debating a subject that you might think is good or not good. And I know that people will appreciate King Tony's, centered / neutral, but left-leaning, but she's logical. You know what I mean? Like, she's not far left.
Right.
So it might be, that debate might be interesting if she's able to join us. We're going to talk about DEI. And then I told her, I would love to know what Jimmy thinks about DEI. And so we'll get into that later. Hi, Ladybud in the chat, and Dinah's in the chat. A lot of people are joining us in the chat. So nice to see you guys. Okay, so I think that's it for conspiracy theories. I'm not sure if I have any more, but if I remember one, I will bring it up. Oh, if you did see the Super Bowl halftime show, I didn't see it, but I saw people commenting when it said game over, and it had a controller symbolism, the X and the O, and I don't know nothing about that. So I know Jimmy's the guy. He's the go-to guy to talk about symbolism and what that might mean for people who believe in messages in plain sight. So how do you feel about that, Jimmy?
All right. So first of all, I didn't watch it when it was on, but there was so much talk about it afterwards that I had to go back and watch the whole thing, the whole halftime show. What I have found, yes, there was a lot of symbolism in there, a lot. Yeah. But depending on which way you lean and believe, you can probably skew it to fit your beliefs. Okay? Because I've seen some people on the far left, trying to say, yeah, there was symbolism, and down with Whitey and all this stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There was that. All right. So I don't ascribe to that side though. So what I do know is the whole fact of the PlayStation controller.
Yep.
What's weird about that is PlayStation itself went offline on February 8th, the day before.
Yeah.
And one thing that I have learned about these gaming systems is this is another way that people that are into human trafficking and the pedophilia and stuff, this is one way that they were using to communicate with one another.
Mm-hmm.
And why do I say that? Because if they're using their phones, if they're using email, that stuff is easily tracked. It can be picked up. So they were trying to bypass all that, and they've been communicating through gaming systems.
Oh, okay.
So, and if you look at the sequence on how they showed the triangle, the X, the button, apparently, and I'm not a gamer, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but this is just what I saw, that if you take the way that those images were shown and you put them together, it's a cheat code in one of the games. I can't remember what game it was. I want to say Grand Theft Auto. I could be wrong, but it basically gave the player ultimate immunity or ultimate life and ultimate armor. So there was nothing that you could do to that player if they had that cheat code.
Okay. Yep.
So is that why Kendrick Lamar came out and said, "Say, Jake, I know you like them young," because he knows he can say it because he might be protected.
I see. Okay.
Okay. So because he basically came out and called Drake a pedophile in front of everybody.
Right.
Did you see that? Did you hear that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
Did you hear that?
Did I hear what? Say that again.
Did you hear Kendrick Lamar say that?
When he said he likes them young, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you watch the video?
No, I didn't watch anything.
Okay, so go to Kendrick Lamar calls out Drake. You got to play this. There's some short clips, but it's from his song "Not Like Us," and apparently, Kendrick Lamar got sued for defamation or something because of this song, and that's why he said, "Y'all want to hear this? You know they like to sue." And then he went on and did what he did. I'm going to say what he said.
Oh, that was at the very beginning of the performance, right?
Nah, that was towards the end.
Towards the end. Oh, okay, because at the beginning, when he's with those female dancers, he says, I want to sing this song to the world, but you know that they like to sue. So I remember that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me see if I could find. I'm gonna share my screen here and see if you could tell me which clip it is, because you should be
able to find it easily. Scroll down.
Kendrick Lamar disses Drake during halftime.
There you go. There you go. Right there.
Okay.
Don't just take classes. Take charge. Start your comeback. At least.
Yeah, not really.
Man, it's the end of it.
Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Kendrick Lamar's 2025 Super Bowl halftime show performance has the crowd going wild. The rapper kicked off his high-energy set with a message from Samuel L. Jackson, giving his best Uncle Sam impression.
Salutations! It's your uncle.
Among the many songs he performed throughout the set, he made sure to include his major 2017 hit to perform his hit song, Not Like Us, which is allegedly a diss track at Drake. But before he started, he had a couple of things to say about those lawsuits.
I want to make a move. I want to perform their favorite song, but you know they love to sue.
What song?
Yeah, that song.
There was even a cameo from one of Kendrick's superfans, Serena Williams, showing off her dance moves. Kendrick wraps the performance with one of his signature tracks, sounding off for all the West Coast.
All right, see if you can find him actually singing this because they didn't play it. They cut it out.
Okay, so what was he saying? He was singing the song, right?
Yeah, Drake. Lamar sings "Not Like Us" at the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl performance. Okay. Okay. It might be, I don't know if YouTube might let me play it. Copyright?
It should if it's from the.
I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out.
Now, not his video.
This is the actual performance.
Is that the whole thing?
Yeah, it's 13 minutes.
Oh God, go further. Go like to 11 minutes.
Okay, 11. Let's see.
Right around there. Let's see if that's it. Damn YouTube.
I know. I think that's actually in the song.
Yeah, it is the song, but he did it on the biggest stage in the world, basically calling Drake a pedophile. And then if you look at his chain at the end of that song, everybody screams A minor.
Yes.
And so A minor pedophilia. Yeah. So that was that was one of the comms I saw there. And the game over thing, in my opinion, that was basically the white hats telling the deep state that their game is over. Because on February 17th, back in 2020, a Q post was put out that said, "To be blunt, game over."
Okay. So I understand how you can make those connections. Oh, here we go. King Tony's in the house. It's snowing.
Oh, hey guys.
What the heck? It's snowing.
Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
No.
No?
I'm kidding.
We can hear you.
But I can't hear you, you see?
Then it's your phone. It's your phone, honey.
Which was the same problem from before. I think there's something wrong with my phone. So I guess I'm gonna have to wait till I get home and I'll log back on.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye. Okay. So we'll wait for King Tony to get into the whole debate thing. We had like a whole hour debate.
Oh my God.
I know. And that's good. The other night we were talking for 4 hours.
Yeah.
About everything. And I told her, listen, this is why just to help you understand where I'm even coming from. It's a lot. It's like to talk to somebody who just woke up and is like trying to understand you. It's a lot. It's exhausting.
You know what? I put out a post the other night on my Facebook page. And because I had somebody asking me, I don't understand this child trafficking stuff. What does that have to do with anything? And it was just like they didn't know. So I was like, oh my God. I said, it's such a long story. And so I put this post out that said, have you ever been watching a 3-hour movie?
Yeah.
And there's 20 minutes left in the movie, and your friend or your spouse comes in and says, what's going on? Who's that? Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that?
Yep.
What's your response to that friend or your spouse when they do that?
Shut up and wait till the movie's over, and then I could tell you everything that happened. Or we're going to have to play it for you from the beginning. Just wait until I'm done with this movie.
Exactly. Yeah, we're getting to the best part. Just hang on. I'll tell you. And then I also put on there, I can tell you what's going on, but you wouldn't believe me until you went back and watched the beginning of the movie.
Right.
So yes, it is very exhausting when people are just waking up and asking these things. But that's basically what we've been prepared to do. We've been prepared to be there for those folks, to answer these questions, to help them figure out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
That's why that video, The Plan to Save the World, is a huge red pill for people.
Yeah.
It's a huge red pill because you watch that video and you're like, holy, especially with everything we found out about Doge right now, you watch that and you're like, holy crap, it all makes sense. At least in my eyes, it makes sense.
Right. I want to bring up this comment I saved so we can answer this. Polish Spaghetti Mama says, Jimmy, I'm aware of the other guys' viewpoints on their religious views, but I never thought of asking what's yours. And then she goes on to ask me, Ruby, what are your religious views, if you don't mind me asking? So if you want to answer, Jimmy, you could go ahead.
All right. So real quick on my religious views. First off, I believe that there is a complete difference between religious ideology and spiritual ideology or spiritual belief. Mm-hmm. I believe they're two separate things. For me, when it comes to religion, I believe that every man-made religion was designed to control us, to brainwash us, and to manipulate us. Mm-hmm. I don't care what religion it is. I'm sorry. That's just my personal feelings. Just because of all the research that I've done on religions and the effects that they've had on mankind over the centuries. And I can go in and explain why I believe all that, but that's not what we're here to do. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm more of a spiritual person where I do believe in a creator. What and who that creator is, I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that there is a creator, because the earth, our bodies, our human bodies, everything is so intrinsic. It's so complicated that I just don't think it happened by happenstance. Right. I don't believe that. So for me, because I have sworn off any type of religion, I feel like I have a personal relationship with the creator. And I don't need a third party telling me how to believe, what to believe, or how I should act. Because my whole philosophy is, if Jesus was real, and there's some debate about that, we're not going to get into that, but he gave the best example on how to treat others. He said, love your God and love your neighbor. Mm-hmm. If I can do those two things, then why do I need religion to tell me how to live?
Okay, good point.
I mean, that's that. And the other thing that Jesus said, he said, the Spirit of God is within you, or the kingdom of God is within you. Mm-hmm. He didn't say it was at the Kingdom Hall. He didn't say it was that. And I know I'm going to rub some people the wrong way and they're going to disagree with me, but that's okay. He didn't say it's down at that church at the end of the street.
Right.
Where you're going to find he said it was within you. Mm-hmm. So once we break away from the constructs of brainwashing, MK Ultra mind programming, then it opens up your pineal gland, your third eye, and you start seeing things in a whole different way. Would I have said this stuff 6-7 years ago? Hell no. I was a brainwashed Jehovah's Witness. Mm-hmm. But once I learned how to wash that stuff away, it's like I was slowly starting seeing things in a totally different light. And that's why I tell everybody, we're on two timelines right now. Mm-hmm. We are on a timeline of a 3D consciousness, and we're on a timeline of 5D consciousness. That's why you can be in the same room with somebody and totally not get the other person when y'all start talking about stuff.
Okay.
So that's my view on that.
Okay. So for me, my religious views, well, I used to be XJW as well. And I recently started inquiring into Christianity again. And I agree that just because I wasn't a Jehovah's Witness anymore didn't mean that I wasn't Christian. You know, because they try to mess with your identity and your faith when you reject the governing body. So I knew that the Jehovah's Witnesses were wrong, but I always thought to myself, if there's a lie, there's the truth. And so I went on that truth-seeking journey, and I started having many awakenings, which was along the same lines I started waking up to politics. When I started getting more politically active and the 2020 stuff was happening, that campaign, the whole loss of that election really got me interested into understanding what the conservatives are, what the Republicans are, what are the left wings, what does progressive and liberal, stances meant. That's when I started realizing that I was siding more with Christian conservatives, but I wasn't Christian. So I just had to explore myself through politics. I explored my Christianity, and I didn't take it seriously until a year ago when I started attending a local church, and I recently converted. My experience has been a really good one, and I'm glad that it was a good one, because it actually, for me personally, it helped me with my circumstances and my family situation. The community and the faith and the church helped me. And so I agreed with the fundamentals enough to say, I'm ready to get baptized. So that's why I converted. So now I'm an Orthodox Christian, but I'm very new. I'm like a newborn preemie baby when it comes to Orthodoxy. So I'm still learning a lot of things, but I love it. It's interesting. It keeps me occupied in a good sense. It keeps my brain focused on the good things, not always being so black-pilled and nihilistic about the world. I flip the script so that I can live a purposeful and happy life, in my opinion. I know that everybody might say, oh, well, you don't need religion for that, or you don't need this. I get it. I totally agree with you. But for me personally, it fits in something that I've been missing for 10 years, when that was my whole life and identity with the Jehovah's Witnesses. So I just had to replace that, but with the good sense, in my opinion, of what true Christianity was. And that was Orthodoxy for me.
Now,
so that's
I will say, Ruby, that there are a lot of people that do leave the Watchtower, and they do need, for themselves, they need that validation of having a community.
Yeah.
There are some people out there that feel like that's what they need, and that's fine. Like for me, I didn't need that, because I'm kind of sometimes I just hate people, and I don't.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So I just felt like, knowing how I can read people, I would have gone in to another church, because I had visited some other churches, in the past, gone into a service with a non-believing spouse, XJW world. And so I've done that, but I'm sitting there and I'm just like, to me, I was like, y'all are really no different than the Watchtower, in my opinion. So I did not need to personally seek out validation and comfort from others. So I didn't go to any religion. Other folks, in their process of healing, they may need that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yes, agreed. Stephanie commented a while ago, and she says, I plan on coming on after I eat dinner. So I am excited if she does join.
Cool.
Eric says that he's in the hospital right now, but that's not stopping him from vaping his weed pen. Oh no, Eric, I hope everything's okay.
That's dedication.
Oh man.
So, all right. So I guess we answered that pretty well.
Yes. And that's why I like our panel, is because we all come from different shared backgrounds, shared past, but new beginnings, and very different on the spectrum of faith, belief, religious, whatever you want to call it. We're very different. And yet I'm open enough to do something like this, because I never wanted to be that JW type that was like, well, I believe in this and everything else is wrong and you're wrong. You know,
Right.
like I don't want to be like that. So I was like, this is great for me too, to keep myself open-minded, at least keep myself open-minded. Yes.
Did you have anything on the list? I know you wrote a list last week of things to talk about. So what did you have?
Yes.
I don't see anything in the chat.
Can you hear us now, Tony?
Yes. Hello.
Yeah, so it's your phone.
Yeah, there's something wrong with my phone.
Okay, so Tony, you're here. We're gonna go into DEI real quick so that you could get all of your talking points out first. And then we're going to give a little
Hi, everyone.
Yes, everybody say hello to Tony. Tony just arrived.
What's up, girl?
I'm healing slowly but surely. I got the flu, Jimmy.
Oh yeah, Tony had the flu, everybody. I don't think anybody knew that, but you had the flu for a few days.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she's just getting better over that.
Yeah, I haven't been this sick in a long time, so it really hit me.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. How's everything with you, Jim?
Good. Good.
I missed a lot of good info.
Not yet. I said we were gonna wait for you for the DEI, but we did talk a little bit about conspiracy theories. Hi, Doreen. We talked a little bit about everything, but we're gonna get a little deeper.
All right. So I guess I'm still learning about the DEI, and I heard about it when they were saying that Target, Walmart, and
companies.
I know, but I'm saying where I saw it from. So it was Target, Walmart, Amazon, Sam's Club. Basically, these are places that people go to, and they removed the program. And I didn't understand at the time what was the big thing about it. So I did, I looked into it a little bit. And I was like, oh, I understand now. And so someone put it there. DEI stands for diversity, equity, inclusions.
Yeah, it's like a policy that these companies have to follow. So go ahead with your point.
I guess my point is that I guess that was benefiting the minority, the people who are of low income and different cultural
minorities.
Yeah, the minorities.
Right.
And so removing that, it's going to basically make it harder for us, in my opinion. I guess they put it in place for a reason. No? What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, Jimmy, why are you calling him Jim? That's so awkward.
Oh my God.
Let's go.
I'm sorry.
Every time you say Jim. Ew.
I'm sorry, Jimmy.
It's okay. Okay, so when the programs were instituted, if I'm correct, it actually started during the Obama administration. And from what I understand, it was supposed to be a way for handicapped folks to be able to get positions, get jobs, and things like that. That's originally, if I'm correct, that's what it was for. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, if the disabled person can do the job, then so be it. I have no problem with that. But what has happened is they have used this program over the years to hire people just to make a quota.
Right.
And that's exactly what it was. Yes.
It's just to make a quota. And it wasn't hiring people that actually had merit. People were not being hired because they could do the job and they could do the job well. They weren't getting hired because they were the wrong color, the wrong gender, the wrong whatever you want to call it. And so when you hire people for a company that is just based on skin color, ideology, then that's affecting the company's performance in whatever job that may be.
How?
Okay, so
because I really don't see how that can affect.
Okay, so let me try to do this in a good way without pissing off people.
I think we're gonna piss off people either way, so it don't
I'm
matter.
about to piss off people, so go ahead, Jimmy, because
All right, so if I can do the job of putting the roof on my house, I can do it. Your house won't leak. I've got examples of my work. I've got customers that have praised my work for my roofing ability. And I've been doing this for 15 years, but I don't want to be self-employed anymore. So I would like to come work for your company. Here are my skills and what I can bring to the table.
Right.
Then you have somebody else who, let's say they're trained. Let's just say they have a woke ideology.
Yeah.
And they haven't spent a day roofing.
Yeah.
But the company needs to fill a quota. They're going to hire that guy.
Right. That's what I told her earlier.
What I keep hearing, and this is what me and Ruby, we went at it before this.
Yeah.
What I keep hearing is they're hiring the person because they're either Hispanic, Black, disabled, LGBTQ.
Right.
That's not what I'm taking from what DEI is.
So what do you think it is?
The point is that we, right, like people of color before have issues getting, if you don't have the qualifications, right?
Yes.
It's hard to get the job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that was for, to be able to force companies to not discriminate based off your disability, your race, and like who you are as a person. That's what
I agree. I agree that shouldn't even be an issue. A company should hire people based on merit. Can you do the job?
Can you do the job? Yes, that's it. But even if you don't have the qualifications, they should be able to teach you. They should be able to train you.
On the job training.
So the example that I gave to Ruby was, let's say there's 400 people, right? They apply to this job. Out of the 400, 100 of them are white American. And let's say not white American, 100 of them have the qualifications for the duty, the job that they're applying for. The other 300 do not have the qualifications for it. So now how I see it is that because they remove that, they're going to hire the 100 and not hire the 300 that they could train. Right? So now the 100 that's working there is going to be abused, basically. They're going to use them and use them and use them and overwork them when they could have hired, the 300 and trained them properly so that they can all work together. And then, the company is running. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this, Tony. Let's say you have a catering business, your catering business.
Yeah.
And you've got appointments coming up for 5 really big catering jobs coming up over the next month. You need people. You put out an ad that, hey, I need caterers to come in. I need people to know how to cook. I need this and this. Are you going to hire people that already know how to do the job? Or are you going to hire people that need on-the-job training, considering you have a deadline?
Right. Okay, so let's answer your question first. We're going to hire the people that have the qualifications. Aside from the deadline, right? Take the deadline out, because this is what's happening.
Well, you can't with this example. I'm trying to, because
yes, you would hire the people with qualifications.
Okay. So you would do that. Yes. Even though some people that are woke ideology, different, and they can't do the job, so you're not going to hire them, right?
Right. I would hire people who had the qualifications.
Exactly. That's what companies should be doing all around.
But this is exactly what I was telling Ruby. It's like, The process to me, it don't make sense 100%, because at the end of the day, how do you expect people to learn if you don't hire them? So now I gotta go to college for who knows how many long years, get into debt, just so I can go and apply to that job and get hired.
Okay, hold on. I want to bring up Empath Lady. She says she knows a lot about this. Maybe she can.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see what Empath Lady has to say, and maybe she'll bring a different angle.
Lady.
Hey.
Hi, can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I had some conversations with some people at Lowe's and also at Walmart. So the concept of being diverse or people to be able to have an opportunity at job, Tony, I understand what you're saying. So here's an actual experience. So I go into Walmart and I'm looking for a particular brand of a bar soap. And I ask the employee, he has no clue. He doesn't know how to work his phone. He's really struggling. I can tell he's trying, but he's not able to do the job. Mm-hmm. So I go and I find somebody else. He also is not able to answer any questions. So then I go and find some guy who was putting stock on the shelves. And I asked him if he can help me. So he comes over to where the other guy is, and he shows the guy, how to do it. It's like it took 3 people to do the work of one. And I complimented the one man on helping him. So that was one experience. So then I went to go the same day. I went to go over to another department and ask about a particular type of polyurethane. And so, when you go to a paint department, it's got a counter and you ask the person behind the counter. So I asked the guy, and right away I could tell he was a little bit special. And so I asked him, and he was nice. And I'm a very patient person. I wasn't pushing him or nothing. And so I look over at the shelves myself and I say, oh, here's the polyurethane. And I go over there and he goes, oh, yeah, that's polyurethane. And I said, I want water-based. And so he looks at them all and he reads them all. And then he picks up and he hands me one that's not water-based. But I took the time to read it. And I read it and it said oil-based or whatever. And I showed it to him. He goes, oh, yeah. Okay. It's like, if I had just taken the employee's word for it and walked out of the store, I would have been irritated. But I realized I was dealing with people that were doing their best, but not qualified to do the job. The same day, I had 3 people in the store. There was one employee for the whole store that could actually answer a question. So then when I was at Lowe's, there was a lady, and I would say she looked like a, what is it? What's the acronym? D what? II or say it one more time? DEI. Diversity hire. So she had blue hair. She, had tattoos and earrings. She looked like she fit right in as a diversity hire. What I would think that's what diversity hire means, but it's not actually. It's like Jimmy was saying about with the Obama administration, getting people that giving them an opportunity, but they're not really qualified or capable of doing the job. So I asked her, she's managing the entrance, so she couldn't leave her post. And I asked for a saucer that goes underneath a planter, not hard to understand. You have a planter and you want the water to drain into it. So she points me to the back of the store. I go back there. I'm struggling to find him. And I see a man in his 50s, maybe. And I ask him, and he literally was lost how to tell me where I could find a planter and the bottom for it. And then I said, so, do you know what aisle they might be on? He said, I'm not sure. I don't know. I think he's struggling. And so then I went back to the beginning of the store. And if you know how far the distance in those big box stores are, I walked a long way to go and talk to that lady.
Yeah.
And I asked her, and she said, you know, she left the post, went and showed me, got it. And then I asked her some questions. I said, can you help me out? I said, I don't know if this is diversity hire day that I'm running into everybody everywhere I go. I said, but it sure is taking a long time to get my errands done because people are not capable. And I said, so can you tell me what that means to you? I said, are we okay having a politically correct conversation? And she was nice enough. She said, yes. She said, you know, she said, I've been here like 10 years. She'd been there a long time. And she says, they've cut my hours back. And she says, they've made it so I'm going to have to go and get a second job because of the diversity hires. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, because they're hiring more people that need to be there for diversity reasons. Therefore, they're cutting my hours as the qualified worker back.
Yep.
That's what I was telling Tony earlier.
Yeah.
She literally said this. Now,
because
here's
they have to meet the quota sometimes. Sometimes they have to meet the quota, so they have to push back on everybody else so that the company can meet the quota. Okay, sorry.
Yes. And so then I asked her a really interesting question. I said, how much do you make an hour? She said 18 and change. And then I said, how much does he make an hour? She said 18 and change. She's doing the job of two people. They're both getting paid the same salaries. Her hours are cut back for the sake of the diversity hire. That's what I know about it.
But I still don't think that they should have removed it. I think they should amend it, as Ruby was mentioning when we were having our conversation. You can make changes to it to make it better, but to remove it, the point of it was to help people who don't necessarily, like, they have disability. It could be a lot of stuff.
Right. Okay, but for clarification, hold on. For clarification, I don't agree with amending DEI. I do agree with abolishing it. But I do, like I told you before, why do we need the DIE if we already have the civil rights movement with the discrimination laws?
Because
that alone should be
enough.
But it is enough. It is enough, though. They fought, and they protested for a very long time to pass the civil rights movement. If you have to take it a step further, then essentially what you're saying is the civil rights movement wasn't enough. And in my opinion, it was. They got the president to sign it. Okay.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to DEI stuff, how many, just a percentage, just off the top of your head, how many percentage of young people from the age of 16 to 22 do you think can go out and find a job right now? Tony, what do you think percentage wise?
You're saying what's the percentage of
what do you
go out and find a job right now?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm going somewhere with this.
I would assume any young person who's able to get a job and go out, they can do it. So
all right. So in the chat, let's just do something. Let's do something here. What percentage of people, young people from the ages of 16 to 22 can go out and find a job today? What do y'all think?
All right.
I guess I'm not understanding the question because it's anyone.
Yeah, but see, like in our area, I mean, how many young people do we have out in the streets right now or at home? They're not working. They say they can't find a job.
Right, but you said can they? They can.
Very few. Beverly says. Jane says none.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Bud says 30%.
100%. Like
Michelle says 100%.
Okay. Now, for those that are older, and that's kind of what our audience is let's go back to the 80s. And what percentage of people do you think could get a job on day one in the 80s, ages 16 through 22?
In the 80s, ages 16 through 22?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be the same answer to me. I'm not too sure, honestly.
See, so here's where I'm going with this. Back in the day, I could go out and I could get a job at a fast food restaurant. I could go get a job at a cabinet making company. I had no problem finding a job ever.
Right.
All right. So today's market,
Yeah.
these kids out there, 16, 17, 18, 19, they're having a hard time finding these quote starter jobs.
Why?
At fast food restaurants, because these companies are hiring people that are 25, 30, 35, 40
Yes.
that are DEI. They are woke individuals. They are of a different, minority group or whatever. So they're hiring all these people, and it's forcing our young people not to learn a skill, a trade, or whatever.
I disagree with that, but I think that they're using that as an excuse because I don't see how that doesn't make sense to me. I don't see how hiring, like you said, is going to stop them from finding a job. There's jobs everywhere.
That's what you think. And that's what the rest of America thinks. But we're trying to bring a little bit of reality into
let me give you a personal example. My stepson, he is 38 years old. He's been working in the hospital, doing different things. He's like maintenance or whatever, but he's been doing that for over 15 years. 2 years ago, he lost his job.
Yeah.
He applied to so many different places, and no one was hiring him. However, these companies were hiring people, but not somebody like him who has the qualifications for it. So he eventually got a job about 2 months ago, and guess where he's working? In a smoke shop. Not something that he is skilled in or whatever. He had to take what he could. So it's not his field of interest, but he had to take a job because that was the only job he could find. Around here, jobs are hard to find.
And you know what? To give the benefit to Tony's argument, I don't think necessarily it's just DEI. It's been a huge problem with the illegal immigration taking American jobs.
I was getting ready to say that too. Yeah, okay. I was getting ready.
Completely different. That's separate though. Like I understand it connects because they are a minority in that sense. But now let's take that out, right? Because they're not here.
But that's what's flooding the market. Now, when my kids grow up, they won't be able to find the job.
Let's remove the immigrants because they're not here.
Well, they are here still.
But we're in the process of removing them, right?
Yeah.
Why would you remove the program?
Because it's based on skin color, race, and not based on merit.
People of color, people who have disabilities, people who don't have the qualifications but they are willing to learn and they are willing to work. That is what I'm talking about.
But some jobs, like people have said in the chat, they don't always have the time to do on-the-job training, even though I agree with you on that point.
They have to make time. I'm sorry.
Some people can.
The company has to set aside time, hire people to train those. That is the company's job to figure that out.
No. A company's job is to produce a product and make profit and be able to pay your employees.
Right. But the point is, you still have to figure out how to run things in situations like this.
Why?
Am I wrong?
Why?
Because.
What do you mean? Why?
Because you feel like
sorry, go ahead, Ruby.
Tony's position is that they should be accommodating, and I understand where you're coming from, that they should accommodate people with those check boxes that you just said. But like I told you in our private conversation,
for instance, like Empath said, right? She just went to a Lowe's and where else? I forgot the other store, but basically the people that she spoke to they were not capable to help of helping her because they had a disability. So now you're telling me we can't hire people with disability because they're not useful? that means they can't make a living. That means they can't get a
I'm
job.
going to say this. There are some companies out there, and I know one because one of them's my clients, where they do go and they do hire people that are in assisted living facilities. Mentally, they're not all there. But what they do is they actually put together little trinkets and stuff to sell to like gift shops and things like that. So this company, that the majority of its workforce that does this stuff are people that are disabled, have some mental issues, and they are working.
Yeah, like Goodwill.
Right.
They create
So then
jobs for people to work
gave
there.
them something that they're able to do
But
within the workplace.
but you don't have to have a government program telling a company to do that.
Right.
Because
Right.
if it were me and I'm running a company, I don't want the government coming in and telling me how to run my company.
That's the point.
Right.
That's the
But
bottom
then
line.
the issue comes that now they took it out and now they're not telling them, right? They're
So
not telling
technically DEI is
are
a
gonna discriminate against those people because
Okay, hold
they
on.
are
Steph,
not qualified.
Steph is here. Let's introduce Steph.
Hey,
Steph.
guys.
Can I tell you this conversation reminds me of something I just saw the other day on, I don't know if you guys watched the Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs podcast, but he had somebody on, I don't remember who the person was, but they were talking it was the guy from former president, I think it was, of Anheuser-Busch. And they got into talking about Bud Light and remember how they everybody like boycotted Bud Light because of their ridiculous stance they took on all the political stuff and the transgender thing. I think it was. Anyway, and it just reminds me of how they were talking about how like this European, I think it was European, but it's kind of a worldwide union, and I can't remember what it's called, but they have the social card. Do you know what I'm talking about, Jimmy?
No.
It's a social card. There's an acronym for it, but I don't remember. But and you gain points for having minorities, and you gain points for having transgender. You have points for all these tiny little minute groups, I'd say, and then. But then it just got carried away to where like people are like, what the F? Like, like what are they doing? And then this general social people like turn on these companies like Target too, like turned on because they get so freaking carried away with their rules and their like agendas. Instead of what really is like should be right, like let's base merits on credentials and what they're qualified for, not on race or genders or whatever, on their qualifications. And unfortunately, when you start creating these social cards, or I don't know if that's not the right word, but
it's like a report card, social report card.
It just distorts everything, and it actually makes things unfair in the long run.
And it also makes things dangerous.
Yes.
Okay. Think about the recent California fires.
Yeah.
So Jeff was just telling me this. He wanted me to bring this out. So he's a fireman. He knows what it takes to rescue people. He did it for 22 years. Mm-hmm. So, Tony, are you aware that they did diversity hired the California, Los Angeles and all that area? Okay, here's what they did. They went in and took all their fire departments and turned them into woke fire departments, meaning they were diversity hires based upon all of those perfect little political talking points, not upon their ability to rescue a person. And so whenever they were doing an interview with one of these diversity hires, persons. I don't know if it was a man or a woman. It was a him, her. So they were interviewing her for like, television or something, not during the fire, before. Okay. And because they were proud of what they had done with these diversity hires. And the person asked him, so, you're a woman and you're, such size you are and tall and everything. What would happen? How do you feel about going into a burning building and pulling out a 6-foot man that's old and can't get up? And her response was, well, I guess he's someplace he shouldn't be. Look it up. It's there. With her own mouth, she said, don't expect me to pick you up. You're too heavy.
And I'm sorry, I would not.
Oh, no, that's unacceptable.
I would not feel comfortable with a woman firefighter coming to save me.
No.
Really? Heck no.
It's super scary. Here you go.
I'm going to play a few clips just so that Tony can see this. I don't think she's seen stuff like this.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
So then you're saying that, let's say, the profession of being a firefighter should be strictly given to men?
No, given to people who are able to carry their weight. There's a lot of women, especially in the military, that kick ass.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll carry any men out.
Yeah.
Not only did they, the existing firemen, they lowered them, gave these other people the better pay raises and pay scales, as well as, because of diversity, they got rid of their fire equipment and basic needs. It's like, what the hell kind of fire department is that? It's insane. And what I was saying earlier about, because it kept going in and out, and I kind of got what you're saying. There's nothing at all wrong in people with abilities having a job and having that, but there are businesses that specialize that, and when you go to that business, you know it, and the people try hard. But when you are saying being able to train somebody, some jobs just aren't going to be able to train people how to figure out certain things. They shouldn't be in that particular job. And what Ruby was saying about the Hispanic, Spanish, all the different nationalities. I can't tell you how many times I went into Walmart in particular, and I'd go up to a person, I'd ask them a question, and they can't speak English.
Yeah.
It's like,
yep,
they're not able to do their job.
Yeah.
That happens all the time.
It does.
But is it right? Shouldn't I be able to go into my store and be able to ask somebody that works there, hey, can you help me? Shouldn't they be able to speak my language?
Yes.
You guys have been to places where they can't speak English?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, the supermarket the supermarket right down by me is all Spanish.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if they do speak English, it's broken and it's like you can barely understand it. But I'm Spanish, so I understand Spanish. I speak in Spanish. You understand?
And you know what? I actually said something because I went into the garden department to ask a question about something, and I got this guy up there, and he no hablo inglés. I'm like, what? So he sends me to somebody else. He points or whatever, and I go over there, and then that person, they can't speak English either.
Oh my
so
God.
I complained. I complained to the manager. Hang on. I complained to the manager about this. I'm like, why do you guys have employees working here who can't speak English? And you know what the response was? Well, we have Hispanic folks that come in here and they can't speak English, so they're there to help them. Okay, I get that. But however, that person that I asked should be able to be bilingual.
Yes, yes.
Or you should have people who speak English in the store too, not just Spanish speaking people.
Well, yeah, but everybody should be able to. If I ask somebody, and that'll take away time. Let's say I ask this person, he says, no hablo inglés. I got to go and find somebody else that can. Does that make my shopping experience at that company better or worse?
Worse.
Right. And
Exactly.
I have a personal experience here where I don't mean to laugh, but it is funny to a certain extent, and it's not at the same time, because I get you. I completely understand the frustration, but it was the same thing. I live in an area where it's mixed, and like I said, the supermarket is Spanish supermarket. Everyone's Spanish in there. And I didn't realize the issue until I saw that this woman came in and she's trying to get something specific, and she went to ask one of the guys and he looked at her and he goes like, I can't speak Spanish, like you're gonna have to go over there. And she was like, the only attitude. She goes to the other person, the same thing that happened to Jimmy happened to her, and she raised hell in the supermarket.
Yeah.
To me though, it's just I just feel like there has to be a way where whatever organization or company to balance, because at the same time, right, they're here in this country, they're citizens, but they don't speak English.
I would not go to another country and expect them to speak my language. I would
Exactly.
I need to learn their language.
Exactly.
And what Ruby was saying about your ethnic background diversity. I recently was in Home Depot, and there was a very nice, well-spoken, very light-skinned Black man that I was talking to at the register. Super helpful, super knowledgeable. And so we got into a little bit of conversation about, maybe the world can kind of get a little better. And he says, I was a diversity hire. And I looked at him and I said, why were you a diversity hire? And because it was nothing about him that was special other than he was technically Black. And I said, you're kidding me. And he said, that is the only reason they gave me the job. I said, you're super qualified. You're like smart. You could figure things out. Hello. He said, they hired me because they needed to get a Black worker.
That's crazy.
And here's the other thing, Tony. Some of these companies that are doing this and playing along with this, they're being funded with our taxpayer dollars.
That's another point that I told Tony. If they want to do that, they should fund themselves. You should not be using taxpayer dollars for that.
They are being paid off, just like the doctors during the CV scam. They got paid to report false things.
Yep, and to get
after what we've learned with Doge this past week, it's no surprise that to be able to push an agenda that these people would be like, hey, we need you to do this, and we're going to give you this type of money so you can go ahead and do it. Now go ahead, and if you check off every box of that report card, then you get the money.
Incentives to do those things because they want to do it just for the money. So
it's more than just.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so that is why DEI needs to go away. And companies, there are companies out there that do specialize in hiring folks with disabilities. There is laws, like Ruby said. There's laws already in the books for that stuff.
A lot. There's not a lot of option. Like,
There isn't, but it at least exists, like Goodwill. They hire people with disabilities and they provide an environment. And when a shopper goes into Goodwill, we are in expectation of that. When I go to a big store like Target, I don't want to see that crap. So you have to remember that the majority of the country agrees with something like this. I understand you care about minorities and things like that. I get it. But like Stephanie said, even if they came to this country and they are legal, they're citizens, they should at least learn English to be in this country. We do not have to make accommodations for something like that. And I told you in our private conversation, the world is, nobody said it was going to be fair. Nobody said that everybody has to be included. You know what I'm saying? So you can cry all you want, and some people are. But at the end of the day, if a company wants to do it, let them do it on their own. Do not make the government force them to do it or incentivize it with taxpayer dollars.
Well, I don't know. I think the point is when you see, we have seen, it's been proven now, when the government gets involved, everything gets completely screwed up, like, or completely misconstrued and twisted.
You know, there's an observation that I made with the halftime Super Bowl thing. You know, you have the left and those that are center left or whatever you want to say, all about DEI, diversity, exclusion, inclusion, whatever it is. You don't hear any of those people saying anything about the Super Bowl halftime show. What did you see at the Super Bowl halftime show? Every performer.
Oh, the huh? About the actual.
Yeah. Every performer at the halftime show. Hold on.
I was gonna say I saw a Jehovah's Witness breaking the rules.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah, but to stay on topic with the DEI stuff, it was all black people. Nothing wrong with that. But where is the diversity, exclusion, and whatever where is it?
Inclusion.
Where was DEI during the halftime Super Bowl show?
That's a good point.
I mean, I don't see how that would be like the proper for that.
If it was all white people performing at that show, DEI would have said something.
A lot of people would have said something.
They would have blown it out of the water.
I get what you're saying. Now.
But they're not saying anything because it was all black people.
It's a double standard sometimes.
Exactly, the double standard.
Use it for their advantage.
It didn't bother me one bit that every performer was a black person. I don't care. It was great. Whatever. I don't care. But see, that's the difference between folks that think like I do and then the folks that think in a woke ideological idea that want to, they would have, if it was all white people, that's all we would have heard this whole week. That the Super Bowl halftime show, it didn't have any diversity. It was all white people. They would have done that. No lie.
And you know what's crazy? I saw some people on X complaining about Lady Gaga's new music video, Abracadabra, I think it's called.
Yeah.
People were complaining that she didn't have body diversity, that it was only skinny people in the music video. There was no fat people.
Oh my God.
And I was like, do you see?
Way too far.
Do you see the slippery slope, Tony?
You know what? Me and my wife, along those lines, Ruby, me and my wife had a conversation the other day, and we were talking about the weight thing we see now. Back in the 80s, you know, even going back the 60s and 70s, you didn't see a lot of obese people.
Right.
The 80s, okay, we had a few kids in our class that were a little overweight, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But then once the mid 90s hit and the 2000s hit, people were starting to put on the weight.
Yes.
Now they want to say it's okay. You know, back then it was always body shaming somebody because they were just so skinny. Now they have body shaming because people are so obese. But in some areas, they promote that. Like Victoria's Secret came out and had
plus
damn,
size.
I'm in a room with women, so I apologize for the way anything comes out.
I don't care. Do it, Jimmy. Go. Rip, do it.
So, but they look at that now as being okay. Lizzo, come seriously?
Yeah.
All right, but it's okay now. So, what has caused Americans to put on so much weight?
Processed food.
The foods that we're eating. Hold on. The foods that we're eating. The foods have gotten worse. And then what happens? What happens when people get obese? They start having health problems, which then forces them to have to go to the doctor, get on medication.
Yeah.
So now you are an obese person. You are funding the processed food people. You are now a customer of Big Pharma. That's what they want people to be like. They don't want healthy people.
We're gonna go back to it. You know, if they fix the food and all that, you think
yes, that's where we need to go. Because you look at a picture. Hang on, y'all. I'm on a rant. Look at a picture from Woodstock. Find one obese person in a picture from Woodstock, 1969.
You won't find it.
You won't find it. But you go to a Taylor Swift concert a week, 3 weeks ago. How many will you find there?
I mean, you're gonna see,
the majority of the people. So we got to look at the bigger picture here. Who is hurting the American people in that way? Big Pharma, Big Ag, these people.
And that's part of the whole Rockefeller medicine, all of the industry that was taken over back in the late 1800s and then the early 1900s. And, they gradually brought that stuff in, that they wanted to have it being a nation of needing health care, not a nation of healthy people.
Right.
I just want to say thank you to the folks in the chat that were liking my little rant.
Yes, and welcome Gigi. Gigi finally entered the stage. Hi, Gigi.
Gigi.
Yeah, how's it going? Hey, yeah, just look at the ingredients and actually Google those words, and you'll find out that a lot of those stuff is actually oil. You know, like the black oil that comes from the ground.
All the seed oils.
No, the motor oil. And so what happens is the oil that comes from the ground, the black stuff. So they make diesel, they make propane, they make gasoline, and they just keep breaking down the oil and make all these different products.
Well, and the seed oils.
Well, no. Forget the seed oil. We're talking oil from the ground. Oil, black oil.
All the oils.
No, hold on a second. No. Hold on. You're missing the point. The oil from the ground makes plastics. It makes diesel fuel. It makes gasoline. The list goes on and on. So what happens is there's a lot of waste product in the petroleum and products. And so some of that stuff, if you look at Hershey's bars, if you look at Frito-Lay, just go to the Frito-Lay.
Playing with me.
A lot of that stuff is in your food.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
It's petroleum.
Yes. Oh my God.
And all you have to do, and it's right there on Wikipedia, and they're telling you what these ingredients are. But
you're making me sick right now.
So what happens? It's not that people are fat because they're fat. It's because it messes your digestive system. And then also like Subway, and I think in Europe, they're not allowed to call it bread because the amount of sugar that they put in the bread doesn't classify it as bread.
Yeah.
Another thing to look at is how many ads do you see on TV for getting a gym membership?
Yeah.
You have all these ads on TV for gym membership and people going to the gym. There's people that have been going to the gym for 5 years and they look the same.
Yep.
So why is that?
Because they're eating the same thing. The food is poisoning us.
Well,
exactly.
But it also it also has to do with how these things affect your endocrine system and your hormones, and especially with children whenever they're growing up, when their body is set in a certain way, and then you start adding, like when you're born, and then you start adding all these other things in at a young age, it messes you up. You're not able to have these things that we need in our body properly functioning. That's why you have so many obese children.
Yeah, there's no reason a little 6-year-old boy looks like he could play linebacker for the damn Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, that should be illegal. It should be illegal for a child to be overweight. That should be like child abuse. In my opinion.
And it's because he's eating corn pops. It's because he's eating corn pops. It's GMO corn. All the things, they add up.
And then you have the media, glamorize this stuff. You want to know how? Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah,
right.
I remember her. Yeah. So
okay. Can I just say, back in the day, right? Let's say the children from today, the children from back in the day, right? They're eating the same amount, right? The same amount that the child's supposed to eat. That kid back in the day will not gain as much weight as the child that is in today because of all the poison and chemicals.
Correct.
So at that point, now I forgot what else the point.
It happens.
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
As Americans, we are eating way, way, way too many and way more than in the past history. Grains and carbs. I can tell you for a fact, because I lost a ton of weight lately just from cutting out grains. I'm not grain free. I'm not carb free. No, I love my sourdough bread and all that, but I just rarely eat it. I cut out rice. I still love potato. I'll eat potatoes, but I cut out all my breads, starches like rice and grains, breads, and it's so easy to lose weight when you just cut out that shit and just stick to proteins and fruit, or maybe some vegetables too, but it's in some healthy grass-fed meats, grass-fed like dairy products that are grass-fed and not overheated and all that. Yeah, it's amazing how easy it is to lose weight when you cut that.
Yeah. Hey, Tony.
Hang on, Gigi. And you want to know where you want to take it to the next level and why this is the case for the American people? It goes back, and I know y'all are going to be, it goes back to the depopulation agenda.
No.
Absolutely.
You're right. I think I remember my point. The point is that because someone had mentioned that it's abuse, but the point is like the two children, right? They're eating the same amount, but in our day and age, they would be gaining more because of what we're eating. As Steph said, we're eating too much carbs, we're eating too much garbage, basically. It's not benefiting us at all, even our children, and they're targeting our children.
Yes.
Tony, look at just do this. Honestly, God, when you go to the convenience store, take a picture of the Hershey's bar. And look at and just go to the ingredients, and then you'll find out that some of them are like castor oil that's synthesized. But and it wasn't like that 100 years ago. It wasn't. Hershey's would just use milk, chocolate, and sugar. But here's the thing: here you can't get it in the United States, pretty much. But on the southern, right by Mexico, in the United States, like Yuma, Phoenix, San Diego, you can get tortillas, corn with 4 ingredients: corn, water, salt, and lime. 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
But guess what? They only make enough for everyday sale, and because guess what? After 3 days, those tortillas start to mold.
Mm-hmm.
And in Mexico, the tortillas are delivered every like 2 hours, and they're flour tortillas. But the ones, and they smell differently. But the ones that are processed will last 1-2 weeks on the shelf. But the ones that are made with butter or coconut oil and just flour,
right? That's correct.
Will only last like 2 days.
Yeah.
I can make some cornbread. I can make some homemade cornbread and a homemade loaf of bread. And I can buy a loaf of bread or make some cornbread that I get from the store. I can do that at the same time. Do you know that the bread that I buy from the store and the cornbread that I make from the store is not going to mold for like 2 weeks? Whereas the stuff that I made homemade in about 3 or 4 days, it's going to be molding.
Yes, you're right. Yep.
And it's proven from other countries that a lot of the products that we have, they will not allow in other countries. You can take even as something as simple as a box of Fruit Loops. The Fruit Loops here, which are not necessarily healthy in general, but they make them different in other countries. The same thing with syrup. There's a lot of products that are just not on their shelves.
Right. It's like the Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A. The Chick-fil-A. The filet. I'm gonna hurt some feelings here, but that Chick-fil-A has 57 ingredients for that one breasted chicken.
Wow. I will say I am guilty. I am guilty when my kids were growing up.
Yeah.
Now my kids are 34 and 30. I started young. I'm not that old.
You look like you're 30.
I started at 17, but anyway.
Oh, that's okay. No worries.
I am guilty of not. I mean, I thought I was feeding them healthy. You know, I didn't Fruit Loops and that crap, but once in a while I would treat them to Captain Crunch or something. But I will say I didn't know back then. We didn't have the information we have today. So I feel like, and I was not a big meat eater. I like literally have to kind of make myself eat meat, and I do a lot more now because I learned it is better for you. But I'm just not naturally like a big meat lover. So I did a lot of carbs and pastas and spaghetti, and like, I'm not saying you can't ever have that. Please don't get me wrong. I'm not going to never have spaghetti or anything like that. So I'm not, or pasta salad, but I just feel like we ate so much of that kind of stuff over the years, and not enough of quality proteins, fruits and vegetables. Well, we did have a lot of fruits and vegetables, I will say, but I just like, if I had things to do all over again and I had the knowledge that I have now, I think not that my kids are unhealthy. They're not. They're all thin and, fine, but I bet they've had some health problems through the years, like just random little things. And I think we could have all been healthier. Even it affects your brain health, Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Speaking of the brain thing. Okay. So people who are addicts, it has to do with, and different types of addicts, has to do with the brain and the dopamine in the brain. Sugar is known to produce the same effect. So people who are eating tons of sugar, they're getting that same body, emotional, mental, that thing that you were talking about in the brains. It's affecting you in the brains.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and another thing you got to think about on a bigger picture here is this has all been done by design. We've all had to work our butts off, work so many hours, and then we got to get dinner for the kids. And because we're eating unhealthy, we're tired, we're lethargic. And so, hey, we got a great solution for you guys. Let's give you processed food that you can pop in the microwave and have this meal ready for your family in 15 minutes. Oh, 15 minutes? That's a great idea because I ain't got time to slave in the kitchen for 2 hours to make something healthy for my family.
1950s TV dinners.
Yes,
they started it long ago.
Yep. And it's just gotten worse to where I would say half the people out there probably just pop something in the oven that they picked up from the store and they're not making healthy food and healthy dinner for their families. Why? Because of time. Because they're tired.
Yeah. I have a question for you all on the panel here. Do you guys have Trader Joe's near you?
Yes.
I do too, and I love Trader Joe's. But
I love Trader Joe's.
You have to be careful what you buy there. So many of their prepared dinners and prepared like things are so
the frozen section.
And everything's packaged in plastic and it's full of seed oils if you're not just getting, raw fruits and vegetables. Like
they think that if they're going to Trader Joe's,
Trader Joe's, don't get me wrong.
Sorry, Steph.
Sorry, yeah, I don't buy a ton of the prepackaged or foods because you read their ingredients. You'd be surprised how much seed oils are in them.
And it's not just the ingredients; it's actually the packaging itself too. Because this will go back to what Gigi said, but I'm gonna put another little spin on it. Do you know that most of your plastics that you put your food in for your leftovers or whatever, all your little utensils that you have that have the black on it, they're all made out of recycled electronic material.
Oh, hell no.
So when that stuff gets heated up, that stuff also gets into your food along with the fucked up ingredients.
Yes, I just saw something about that. The black.
So you know what my wife did this weekend? She went and bought all glass bowls for our house, and I had to spend 2 hours playing dish Jenga to get it all in the cabinets.
I have all glass containers. I do. I have all glass containers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I already knew you shouldn't heat those things up because it's plastic. But
and even you go back in the day and go to the grocery store, there were glass bottles for everything.
Right. But even the microwave safe Tupperware is not.
That's not good. None. Zero plastics.
Microwave safe does not mean you should use it. No.
Yeah. Zero plastics.
Another bad thing is Costco. And I'm a huge fan of Costco. I just went there yesterday. I have certain things I get there. But you have to be careful again with like a lot of tons of their stuff is got seed oils in it and sugars and just crap. They have so much.
Can you explain the seed oil? Because I like a little bit for me, like the harm stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh,
explain about seed oil, Stephanie.
Oh, well, they like go rancid in your body. They're the way they're processed is horrible for you. It's like just as bad, not worse than processed sugar.
Okay.
Body differently than processed sugar, but it's just like in a whole nother way. It affects your metabolic system, like your cells and everything.
Wow.
When we're talking seed oils, we're talking really like sunflower oil and what they would call vegetable oil. That sounds like really good because it's vegetable. No,
it's bad.
Oils and like
canola. Canola is horrible.
Yes.
I don't do canola, but I do vegetable. Don't do this to me.
So try and go to a store and find a potato chip or find products that don't have those seed oil issues that she's talking about. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sorry, but I'm a chipaholic. I mean, I don't normally carry it like on a weekly basis. I don't buy chips, but I love chips. Once I have chip, I can't stop eating chip, like tortilla chips. And they're full of seed oil. So I'm not saying I'm perfect here.
No, but it's good. It's good to know.
Y'all know what chips are the worst?
They're the worst.
God, stop it, Jimmy.
I'm about here. Pringles has no potato. Pringles is horrible for you.
When I learned that, I stopped eating them. I couldn't believe it. I used to be like,
and Doritos.
Pringles.
Horrible.
And that is garbage.
Doritos are horrible for you. Takis, and anything with the flaming.
I saw someone light
horrible.
a Dorito and it was not burning.
Yeah.
That was
Hey, hey, Ruby, there are so many amazing comments. Like in the audience, I figured out how to look. And I mean, it is how knowledgeable people are. It's just great.
I've been bringing them up. I've been bringing all the comments up.
But I like the one that you put. That's because I didn't know that the citric acid is actually made from mold.
Yep, somebody said that in the chat. Yep.
That is
Ruby.
Yep.
Is this the Maha Council here? Are we on part of the Maha Council?
I agree 100% with the Maha.
Team Maha. Team Maha.
Yep. But I do still use oil to fry things, so I need an alternative. What do we use to like deep fry?
Avocado oil.
Oh, okay.
I use avocado oil or
coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
Okay.
Or
okay.
tallow. Tallow. Actually, tallow is the best.
Tallow?
That's the fat, right? Beef fat or something?
Yeah, beef fat. Let me
tallow is beef fat. So you would
like
buy tallow.
I didn't know they have an oil, a tallow oil.
We're gonna have to look it up. Yeah.
And another thing to do, guys, throw out any cookware that you have that has Teflon on it.
Yeah, don't use Teflon.
Oh my God, I did that literally last week. I got rid of all my, and you know how I noticed? I'm sorry, Steph, you wanna,
Well, I just real quick want to say this is from Walmart. You can get it sometimes in the store, sometimes
it says
not.
pure tallow. Okay.
And
yeah, I'm gonna have to find that.
And you could fry with that?
Yes.
You could do everything, like cook with it.
McDonald's fries used to be fried in tallow oil, and
It's more old fashioned.
Is from grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef from Walmart. You can order it online. It's called.
I didn't know we were going down this path tonight.
No, this is actually really great.
Back to the Teflon. This is what happened. So, my mother about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years, she had gifted me when I had moved here. She gifted me this set, and it was all Teflon utensils, the pots and all that. And I'm using it, and not once did I think to look at the napkin where I'm placing my utensils, right? So, and I've been using it for about a year and more.
What?
Last week, I saw when I put it down, because I placed it on like a bouncy so it doesn't dirty the counter or anything, or like a plate. This black residue came off because I was using it to cook, fry, whatever I was doing. And I was like, I've never noticed this before. And then I smelled it and it was chemicals. I was like, this is the actual spoon. Like, it's melting.
Yeah.
And in my food. And I'm eating it this whole time. And I didn't know.
And plastic cutting boards are not good either.
That's right.
So we need wooden ones.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'm gonna throw everything out of my kitchen and we're gonna have to buy everything all over again.
Y'all's husbands are gonna hate me tonight.
Yeah,
because we gotta go out and buy all new stuff for the kitchen. I've done that. I've had to do it.
Take a picture of what you got and let us know.
It's because they wanted to condition people to think in terms of these plastics and these petroleum-based products and all this stuff, rather than how it used to be, the good old days with wood and like she's talking about the tallow and the different oils that they came up with are made from the seeds, the GMO seeds. It's like it's just the whole entire process. It's amazing that we're even still alive, that our bodies are somehow or another able to combat all this stuff. It's crazy.
I think that's evolution. I believe in evolution in that sense, that our bodies adapt to what's being put on us, and our DNA can change with that. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Yep.
Well, I was just gonna say, I was just seeing something the other day on a report or something on Instagram, and how all these plastics getting into our microplastics into our bodies, they tend to go to the brain. A lot of it's to the brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is causing a lot of dementia and stuff like that. Like, that's when
Give me a perfect example of that, Steph, is what was it? Phosphorate 80, PHOSPORATE, phosphorate 80. I saw a video, and it had to do with pickles, and so it said, go look, and if your pickles have the ingredient phosphorate 80 on it, don't get it, because that chemical is designed to break down the thin layer that protects your brain. And so I found that out, and I was like, well, damn. So I went to my refrigerator. I had 3 jars of pickles, different types of pickles in there. I had to throw them all out.
Oh my God.
I've been eating pickles recently. Oh my God.
And then I went to the store to go, to get some other stuff. I wasn't for pickles this time. But I seen a guy over by the pickle section. So I go up to him, and I'm like, dude, you don't know me, but I want to give you some information. I see you have those pickles. Look on the back of the ingredients. It says phosphorate 80. Do you know what that does? You don't? Let me tell you. I told him, and then I walked away.
Oh my God.
I saw him later at the checkout, and he had 0 pickles in his cart.
Yeah.
So just here recently, I was able to go to Food Line. We had a recipe. We were making like a cheeseburger casserole, and it called for pickles. So I went to Food Line, and I found the Nature's Organic brand. Looked on the back, and it did not have that phosphorate 80 in it. I was like, oh, thank God.
I'm gonna go check my pickles right now. I'll be right back.
You know what? I was just laughing. I made a joke in my head that now I'm gonna call Jimmy the Q Pickle. That's your new nickname, because that describes you. You're the pickle guy. I love the pickle story. You're saving lives, Jimmy.
Well, and see, not most people will do that, but I have that salesman thing. I can literally go up to anybody and start talking to them. Doesn't matter to me. So, but the thing is now he's gonna go home. And his wife's gonna be like, "Where's the pickles?" He's gonna be like, "Some dude in Food Line told me I don't need to be getting these pickles because it's gonna mess up our brains."
You see it there, Tony? It's there, right?
What's it say?
Throw it out.
What does it say, Tony?
It says
I gotta look at my.
It says it.
I'm going blind.
I cannot believe this.
What does it say?
It says polysorbate 80.
Yeah, polysorbate 80. Okay, that's what it is. Yeah, polysorbate 80.
That's why
Don't
you can't understand, Tony.
Do not get glasses.
So tell
Cut
me.
it out.
Now, Ruby, just for the audience, go look up, do the Google search on polysorbate 80.
Okay, hold on. I think Stephanie wanted to say something. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Oh, I was asking. Tell me again what that does.
That's okay. Yeah,
It erodes your brain. It makes your brain messed up.
There's a thin.
That's my excuse. I've been eating polysorbate 80.
Tony, type it in. Right. Can somebody type it in so I can know how to spell it? Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
POLYSOR.
Wait, you're going too fast. Wait. POLY
SOR
SOR.
I'm assuming BATE.
BATE.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
I gotta go check my other pickles now.
And 80.
No, this is crazy. And I just bought these. This was about $6.
All right, read it.
Okay. Polysorbate 80 is a non-ionic surfactant and emulsifier often used in pharmaceuticals, foods, and cosmetics. This synthetic compound is a viscous water solid. Oh my goodness. I need to soluble yellow liquid. Oh my goodness.
So synthetic means it's man-made.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You see, when you can't even pronounce the stuff, just throw it away. That's your red
tell you
flag.
the other day that I go to the supermarket and I'm having freaking anxiety attacks down these aisles. Like, this is the vegetation. And I look at the freaking lettuce and all these, I'm like, I can't eat this because there's all this pesticides being sprayed on it.
Gut inflammation. Yeah, it messes up with your gut.
Hey, we got
I can't.
We got a winner here. These pickles do not have it.
What's the name?
Yes. Got a winner here. This are cucumbers, water, peppers, salt, vinegar, garlic, dill, spices, calcium.
Oh, that sounds good.
There you go.
What's the brand?
So I wonder how many people in the chat have gone to the refrigerators to check their pickles.
I don't buy pickles, so I'm safe.
That's the only thing that has it. That's the question.
Probably not.
Tony.
So many things are bad.
This is why you can't understand the DEI stuff. You've been eating too many pickles and it's getting into your brain and you're not understanding what the hell we're talking about. That's why it's so...
It took you being pounded by about 4 different people to help you to get it.
I love my pickles too.
Now you understand, Tony? Now you understand?
And it's definitely that.
But you see how I love that we still debated it?
The whole time, Tony.
Yeah.
Been our pickle the whole time, Tony.
Hey, what's the pickle? I love pickles. It's not fair. Ruby tells me, well, sorry. She goes, sorry, honey. Life ain't fair.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like at the end of the day, that's what it is. But you see, this is why I told you to still come on and debate it so that people could see how to respectfully debate something that they, 1 argument, 2 arguments, 3, 4, 5, everybody can come and at least share the information. Yeah. You're going to do what you want with it at the end of the day. You're going to form your own opinion at the end of the day. And you could do your own research or whatever. But you see, people need to see that, you know what I'm saying? Like live, public, especially in the LGBTQ community, how you can debate that without getting angry or hopping off or, you know what I'm saying? So that it was still good that we debated that. And now you understand.
Well, we all learned something tonight.
Does your pickles have high fructose corn syrup?
That's another problem.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I probably could go through your kitchen and throw out 90% of the stuff.
Not my kitchen. I have been really serious about my traditionalism.
Yeah.
I try to cook everything.
And if anybody's eating Oreos, you might want to throw them out too.
I honestly, ever since I have my kidneys, I have to cut out a lot of processed foods. I don't eat those things no more. It's been a while.
And you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol.
I start getting tummy aches.
Yeah, and you're not supposed to be drinking alcohol. I was about to roundhouse kick you because you drank alcohol recently, and you're not supposed to drink alcohol. So we've been talking about this health stuff. This is why it's important.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I don't remember ever drinking. When have I drank?
Yeah, you don't remember because you was drunk.
No, I do not remember because you was drunk. 80. I'm sorry.
You said, excuse me. said it was free drinks in the city, and you drank the drinks just because it was free. Do you see what these people are doing to you? The city is killing you. I told you, you need to move. You need to be free. And just because it's free doesn't mean you take it.
Yeah.
I would take it.
Yeah, it's been one hell of a journey trying to. I mean, when I go to the grocery store right now, I literally see nothing but poison. It
Yo,
sucks.
this is Teddy in the chat. Remember Teddy from the UK?
Yeah.
Teddy, hi, Teddy. I think that's Teddy. Are you Teddy from the UK? I think this is Teddy.
So, I mean, Lily was right. Empath Lady was right when she said that in a lot of these other countries, they have banned the ingredients, some of the ingredients that we put in our food here in the United States.
Yeah.
I heard this interview by a doctor or somebody who used to represent pharmaceutical companies, and he was doing an interview, and it actually, I think it was Tucker Carlson he originally did the interview with, and he was talking about Ozempic, and he was saying that, I mean, and this is maybe even last year he did this interview. He said that Ozempic is banned in the country that it's made in. They won't even let it be sold to anybody in their own country.
Wow.
I was listening to I did open enrollment for a company in December, and before I came on, the lady from the major medical company was giving her spill. And one of the things that she said is, well, this year is going to be different when it comes to prescription drugs because our insurance company is not going to cover Ozempic anymore.
Wow.
It's terrible. I mean, I listened to a lot of doctors and scientists who are vocal about all the, the taboo subjects that, you know what I mean? And, when they said trust the science, okay, so these guys know how science is made. And I listened to an interview today with this one guy who's been trying to, he calls it bring awareness to disease X. I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but basically he predicted 5 years ago or however long it's been, that as a result of that, the vaccine and the side effects and the long COVID, all the stuff that would result, because there were a lot of doctors and scientists that knew in the beginning of how bad it was, and it was not a good idea. And whenever you have these articles that are written that becomes the science, these two guys today gave a great explanation of why these articles by brilliant scientists and doctors were not allowed to be in those journals because those journals are bought and paid for by pharma. And he said the industry is completely controlled by what articles are allowed to be written that create the quote science that things are based on.
Wow.
There is no trust to science.
Wow.
And do you know that as of today, I just heard there are 8 states that are banning the Fauci ouchie.
Wow.
Good.
The what?
Wow. Who did you hear? What did you hear?
I heard it on X22.
Now, I know Florida, the Surgeon General a while ago, he said that he was not going to allow it to be recommended.
Yeah, I think Florida was one of those states. I know Washington was one of the states. Tennessee was one of them. But there are 8 states out there that are putting in proposals to ban it.
That's so great. Yeah, and you know what? Let's just be one good thing that came from all that is that a lot of witnesses woke up.
Yeah.
And I was one of them.
Yep.
Wow.
And so thank God, that's one good thing that came out of that pandemic and the ouchie. Yeah.
Let's be kind of careful because we don't want to get a strike on Ruby's channel. So I know how everybody feels about this. So yeah, but let's use code words. Don't forget to use code words.
I'm sorry. I was like, what the heck is the Fauci ouchie?
Yep. We gotta play it safe.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so now I can go back. Okay, you said 8 states said they were going to ban it.
Not recommend it or ban it.
Ban it. Ban it. And they won't be the other states will get on board too.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that. That's good. That's
awesome.
very good.
So is New York one of them or no?
I don't think New York was on that list. I'd have to go back and look. Maybe somebody in the chat can find it.
Didn't I say that? I said that earlier too. Yeah, about the vaccine. They should ban it. We were talking about that. Remember, Ruby?
Fauci ouchie.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fauci. I'm sorry. You see,
Or
not letting me think. I'm sorry.
Or you can call it the Jimmy Jab.
It's the pickles talking.
We got a question for Jimmy. Teddy is asking that Jimmy is. I mean, what the heck am I doing? Let me start over. We have a question or statement for Jimmy from Teddy. He says, Fauci, a puppet planted by Medici family. Jimmy knows. He'll explain. Do you know about that?
Well, he's right when he says he's a puppet.
He's referring to the bloodline families, the Medici family.
Yeah, that's what he's referring to. So yes, bloodline families have put their little puppets in all over the place in pharma, big ag, everywhere.
Michelle said to say the hokey pokey.
Hokey pokey.
I like that. Hokey pokey. That's good. That's good, Tony. Hokey pokey.
That's a good one. Oh my God.
So, what's next?
Okay, so really quickly, if you can explain the tariffs that Trump was, Okay, fine. Go ahead, Tony. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought we were able to see about whatever we wanted now.
I did too.
She has a list. Ruby has a list.
No, yeah, I do, but with the lingo, I'm on probation from YouTube from before this election, so I don't think.
We're not able to. Not yet. Not here on YouTube.
Yeah, not yet.
Okay. But that's weird because I was watching a video with a YouTuber and he was saying the word left and right, and he's a well-known YouTuber. So.
And that's why I protested my thing, and they still said no because.
Right. But did you protest it now after the election?
I don't know if I can because they already took it off. There is nothing to flag because they already deleted everything. They took it all out. It was gone.
And here's a little. I was going to say, here's a little insight that I learned when it comes to some people who are able to get away with saying stuff. YouTube in particular likes it when you're monetized and you're on there for hours and hours because they will let you do more, say more, get away with more because they're benefiting. And if they also are somebody who does a live and then the people can give them a what is that called, donation, or give them a super chat or whatever that stuff, they love that even more because they get a percentage of that.
Got you.
I'm still a nobody, so I'm sorry we have to censor our speech. Okay, when I get big, you can say whatever you want. All right, but for right now we got to be careful.
Ladybug says it's 12 states now, not 8.
Yeah, 12 states.
Somebody put in the chat, how did we get from some bloke in the store not speaking English to here? Hey, that's how our show goes. That's why you never know what we're going to talk about.
That's right.
Yep, and I try my best to remember everything because one of my questions, and I know that Jimmy might be able to explain it, is the tariffs that Trump was imposing. People saying that, that's going to make things more expensive. They want to make us feel like, uneducated or stupid for believing that imposing the tariffs would do more good than not. So I was wondering, the tariffs for Canada and for Mexico, that Trump was putting, and he just also implemented one for South Africa, which I want to get into later in a minute.
Oh yeah.
Will that help our economy? How, and will it counter inflation?
You want me to answer that?
If you can, in a nutshell.
Let's do it.
All right, so
we've been waiting all week for this. You got it. Come on, we need you, Jimmy.
All right, you got that other clip ready to go though, Ruby, that I sent you for last week?
All right, let's go back to my DMs, everybody.
So while you're looking for that, all right. Before 1913, there were no income taxes.
Right.
Our government was funded by tariffs. Now, I'm not saying tariff is the only thing, but they were funded by tariffs, not income taxes. So this whole idea of tariffs is not anything new. But the media, knowing how they are, they're going to push fear and propaganda to get everybody scared of tariffs. The other thing that tariffs can do can be used as a bargaining tool.
Yeah.
So if you want Mexico to put their troops on the border and Mexico doesn't want to listen to that, then, well, you can tariff them. And then they're going to be like, oh, no, please, Mr. President, don't tariff us. We'd be more than happy to move our troops to the border, which they did. And Trump postponed the tariffs on Mexico for a month.
Yep.
So it can be used as a bargaining tool. Now, as far as the inflation and all that, that's where this clip will come into play, because SG Anonymous, I think it was the Right Report. The Right Report explained it in a way that I can't do it justice.
Okay, so we're going to go to my DMs, everybody. Brace yourself. These are the conversations between me and Jimmy. Now, Jimmy, which one is it? I see a Facebook.
There should be one where I say start at time. There was a timestamp that start the video at.
Okay, a time.
And it was last Monday or Tuesday that I sent it to you, I think. Yeah, because we were going to play it last week.
Were we? Okay. I hate that I always forget these things.
Yeah, it's a great clip.
Jimmy, the guy with a MAGA hat that he was like, I regret my vote. That video, was that a joke or was he being serious?
that was a joke.
Okay, so you said to start it from 8 minutes and 40 seconds and run it to the 20-minute 15 mark.
Yeah, it's kind of long, but guys, the guy explains it very well.
Okay, so which episode?
Oh snap!
The
third
episode. I mean, you just sent me the link of the podcast, but I don't know which episode.
I thought I gave you the episode.
I know sometimes when you
look at the February 3rd episode. What's it say?
Oh, there we go. February 3rd. Got it. All right, let's see.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Well,
this is good stuff.
How do I go to the timestamp?
Hey, podcast listener. When we wrote this commercial, we wanted to blend in, just like the new ePass sticker in black. It blends in with.
Yeah, give it. You got.
Meanwhile, in Canada, they're thinking because, hey, why not? Let's look for another big purchase, shall we? It's a washer and a dryer. So we go down that aisle, and in front of us, we see three options this morning. One is manufactured in China, and that costs about $1,100. Option number 2 is built in Mexico, and that costs $1,200. And finally, there's one made in America, and that one costs you the most at $1,300. The big reason for the price difference is cheap labor. Back in the 1990s, U.S. economists and policymakers in D.C. thought it wise to ship off our industrial base, like those washer and dryer factories, to other countries by lowering tariffs to zero through trade deals like NAFTA, now known as the USMCA, or allowing China entry into the WTO, or World Trade Organization. Well, that is exactly what U.S. companies did. They began to shut down our factories and they moved them to Mexico and Canada, other places, all to take advantage of their cheap labor and also some lack of environmental regulations too. Anyway, it boosted their corporate profits. That is certainly true. It also offered you and I cheaper washers and dryers, about $200 less, imagining, again, we were at Costco this morning. But Mr. Trump and a lot of other people over the years have argued that this idea back in the 1990s was really, really dumb, and for three reasons. First, they point out to some really good data that showed that these trade deals destroyed the American working class in factory towns, and along with it, millions of families. Jobs were gone, wages were depressed, and marriage rates dipped. Second, it also made us very vulnerable to supply chain shocks like we saw during the pandemic. In fact, we all know that China now mostly owns our medical supply chain. Third, it weakens our national security. So, for example, communist Chinese companies, they are full of spies and saboteurs who set up factories, say, along the Mexican border to take advantage of the USMCA, but they have to respond to Beijing's demands for, say, an intel or military requirement. Not very smart. But as of this morning, President Donald Trump is going to begin to reverse that experiment from the 1990s, slapping on tariffs to squeeze or force U.S. companies and factories to come back home, thus strengthening our supply chains, fixing the national security issue, and penalizing the cheaters of these various free trade systems. And to be clear, in fact, Trump repeated over the weekend that the tariffs are also going to penalize Canada, Mexico, and China on fentanyl or the flow of illegal aliens. That is very true. In other words, we've got a lot of goals going on here. But strategy aside for a second, let's go back to Costco and talk about how the tariff war might impact you. Because as you stand there in that aisle in Costco, you've now got three new options with Trump's new tariffs. That Chinese appliance, that is now going to cost a little bit more. It's going to sit just north of $1,200. Same is true of that Mexican version, a little over $1,300. But that made in the USA set, that is going to remain at $1,300 flat. In other words, China's appliance is still a little bit cheaper, but not by much. So now the question becomes, which one should you choose? Well, hold that thought, because here comes a Costco worker, and he's got a marker in his hand, and he plans to offer you a discount based on what is going on in the global marketplace. So, for example, China or Mexico's appliance could get marked down because guess what? They just set up a factory in this country to avoid the tariff. Another possibility, both nations' companies lower their prices and they eat the cost of the tariff and not pass that along to, say, you or Costco. Or maybe that U.S. company, they decide to lower their price even further by, say, another $100, and they become the cheapest option of all at Costco, snatching more market share and pushing out their competition. Or, yes, there is also this possibility. Nobody changes their prices, and when Costco goes to the ports to pick up the washers and dryers, they pay the tariff, and either they eat the price increase or they pass that on to you. So, which is it? What will that worker at Costco write as the new price that you were going to pay at the checkout line? The answer is, I have no idea. No one does. In fact, we won't know how this tariff war is going to impact us as consumers until each company and each industry has had time to look at their profit margins, cut out internal costs, squeeze their suppliers for lower costs, see what their competition is going to do, and then react with a new price. And that is why President Trump correctly said over the weekend that it depends when asking whether or not U.S. consumers like you and I will pay a price for his tariff war. All right, let's take one other example this morning that I have seen a lot of news about over the past 48 hours, new vehicles. And that's because Canada and Mexico produce or manufacture a lot of our finished cars and car parts. In fact, Bloomberg News is estimating that these Trump tariffs could increase the price of a new car around $3,000 per vehicle, but that's not universally true. Some car companies make most of their vehicles here in the U.S. with domestic supply chains. Others, though, import most of their cars or their parts. So the tariff on the Mexicans or the Canadians, for you and I, the consumer, it could be a very little amount or quite a lot, company and model dependent. Plus, we know that some car companies and their suppliers, they will absorb the cost of these tariffs and lower their profit rather than hit you with it. As the CEO of a parts supplier called Continental said in an interview with Bloomberg News over the weekend, quote, "The question is who is absorbing the price of the tariffs? Are we able to absorb that price? Or is it going to be shifted to the end consumer? End quote. Here again, the answer is they don't know. They're still debating and negotiating and figuring out their strategy to maximize profits while, of course, keeping market share. But as ever, they can always bring their supply chains back home. And that's important because it takes us to Trump's strategy of trying to launch this new golden age in America. The Wall Street Journal reports that U.S. automakers are pounding on the door of their U.S. suppliers, especially and including some folks at the North American Stamping Group. Those folks make metal seat frames and parts for vehicle exhaust systems, and they do so in the cities of Pulaski, Tennessee, and Portland, Tennessee, along with Ada and Paulding, Ohio. The CEO of this company says he has been asked a lot lately if he can boost his U.S. factory lines instead of his factories in Canada and Mexico, to which he said, yes, production in Tennessee and Ohio can be boosted, and some work can actually be moved from Canada and Mexico back home. That would take probably a couple weeks. But bigger projects, say a major expansion or new factories, that could take a year, give or take. And that is why, again, imagining we are back at Costco this morning and that clerk is walking down the aisle to post a new number for that washer and dryer, the number that you are about to see could be good news or bad news or not much news at all, at least for your pocketbook. And so, with those facts and data, thinking about washers and dryers and cars this morning, let's pivot now to analysis and opinion about Donald Trump's bigger strategy here. So let's start with this. Starting today, you are likely going to hear a lot of frothy rhetoric on both sides of the political and economic aisles about these tariffs. Again, assuming that Mr. Trump does not change his mind in the next 24 hours, who knows? But as we think about the pros and the cons of all of this tariff war, let's remember that bigger strategy and the history behind what President Trump is doing and why. Let us remember that China and Mexico have been poisoning our people for years with fentanyl, refusing to crack down on those precursor chemicals. Hundreds of thousands of our fellow Americans, ladies and gentlemen, are dead. We are and have been under attack for years. Second, Mexico has thumbed its nose at us and facilitated open borders, as we all know, with Joe Biden and Democrats flooding this country with illegals. I think most of us should say, well, Mexico ought to be punished for that. Third, we also know that Canada's leftist government has opened its borders as well to illegal aliens, although admittedly vastly fewer than Mexico. And some of those people, yes, have trickled down into this country. Meanwhile, America's trade policies, ladies and gentlemen, they have destroyed the American family. The data are really clear on this. Starting back in the 1990s, more and more of our factories left our towns to go abroad. That left fewer jobs for our working men, especially. They became increasingly despondent. They got divorced at greater rates from their wives, or they never married at all. Families then split apart. Drug and alcohol levels spiked, and levels of single moms skyrocketed, especially amongst Black and brown women. Now, to be fair, that is not all due to trade policies, but it is a big, big part of the problem, as Vice President J.D. Vance has so eloquently written about and spoken about. So in that way, this tariff war, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a fight over the economy or our ability to buy cheap stuff from China. No, this is a war for the very soul of the nation, for the very future of our families and our communities. And that is why, if we are to relaunch this golden age, as Donald Trump has said, we are going to need some tariffs, and they're going to help us rebuild and protect our new companies. But perhaps more than that, we are going to need to inspire a new generation of men like that CEO of that auto parts company with factories in Ohio and Tennessee. We need him to shut down his factories in Canada and Mexico and bring them home. We will also need CEOs like the guys who run Guardian Bikes and American Giant. I shared with you back on January 7th. Those are the guys that are proving everybody wrong and are building new factories in this country to compete against China and Mexico to make our bicycles and clothes. So all in all, President Trump has a strategy this morning. A lot of different paths, some bumps along the way, but the same goal is a new golden age for America. Now, to be fair, some of us might hear this week that our pocketbooks are really going to get hit with this tariff war. But when you hear that argument, I would offer you this reminder. I briefed you on how Democrat and Obama-era economists have said that on balance, the U.S. economy should not take much of a hit with these Trump tariffs. You may remember that Reuters and Morningstar offered up those reflections last month. Plus, if you'll recall, all that tariff money could actually help the U.S. Treasury to reduce our annual deficit and pay down the national debt. Yes, again, to be fair, it could also have some pretty serious impacts on different parts of the U.S. economy and maybe your pocketbook. It just depends. Now you know why that is and whether or not, ladies and gentlemen, it is worth it to make America great again. With that, let's take our first break of the morning. As ever, folks, if
Interesting.
Yeah, that was really good.
Interesting.
See why I said he explains it a lot better than I could?
It explained literally everything. I have no further questions.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, what is the media telling you about tariffs?
Very negative, that it's gonna skyrocket the prices and that is bad, and that Trump is using it as almost like a authoritarian, like a dictatorship.
So what do we call that?
Propaganda.
And
A narrative.
and
Misinformation.
fear.
Fear. Okay.
They're trying to put fear in Americans. That's what they're trying to do about the tariff stuff.
Okay. Teddy has another question for you. He says, "Hey Jimmy, Tariffs worked under an industrious expansionist America, but dried up mainly due to World War I's expenses. There's already a war in Europe financed by us. By us or US? Okay, I don't know. How will tariffs create income?"
The video just explained that.
Yeah. Yeah, Teddy. Watch that podcast.
Can I make a comment to Teddy?
Yep.
Okay. It's like everybody's concerned about whether or not if there's going to be hardships because of the concept of no taxes or this kind of stuff. If anybody's been watching these different videos that have been bringing out the trillions, not just billions, not millions, the trillions of waste and the money siphoning, it's like you get a scope. I sent a video to Jimmy today that I saw somewhere in one of those videos that has a whole bunch of different people in it. And I found it on YouTube. And Jimmy, did you get a chance to watch that?
I started watching like the first 5 minutes of it, which I had seen already on another clip. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
Yeah, I saw the clip, and then I wanted to find the whole thing. And I don't know if you're able to like maybe give that to Ruby so that maybe she can watch it and we can maybe cover that another time. It's shocking. I'm not even shocking. It's beyond shocking. It's like the concept of that we don't have any money, which is what I wanted to say to Tebby, is a joke. We have so much money. There's no need for worrying about little tiny areas of our life being affected.
Right.
Sorry, Lily.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
I was getting ready to say, he said something about a industrial expansionist time period.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think would happen to this country if you had hundreds of companies bringing their production back to the United States? It would be a boom.
Yeah.
A huge economic boom.
Yep.
And then you have that. Then you have the exposure of what Doge is bringing out. And, you know, the American people see, oh, wow, we can have a better economy if we bring jobs back home. Yay. Oh, you mean we can have a better economy and not have to worry about taxes if the efforts in Washington weren't wasting our money on $20 million for Sesame Street and freaking Iraq?
Yes, it's common sense.
And let's just remember when Trump was president last time, he did tariffs and prices came down, not up.
Good point. Good point, Stephanie.
Yeah. He instilled tariffs last time he was president, and prices did not go up; they came down.
Well, we do know that prices did come down. So yeah, that's probably. So the point being with all this is when the media says, "Oh, they push that fear and everything," you know that they're lying to you because, as the guy in the video said, nobody knows yet until it actually works its way through the channels it has to go through.
Right. I do agree with Michelle when she says, you know what hurts us more is the income taxes. And like Jimmy said,
yeah,
about the whole like prior to 1913 and all the Federal Reserve and all of those infiltration of foreign interest and fake money and whatever you want to call it. I want to make America great again back then. And that's what I mean by that. It's more to make us the way we used to be and get rid of all that was implemented later.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people right now on X. I've seen so many videos this past week where people are pissed and they don't want to pay their taxes anymore.
We shouldn't. It's voluntary, right?
And it's completely unconstitutional.
Yep.
Exactly.
Completely unconstitutional. And if people
and you know, Ruby, where you said you know where you said as far as where it used to be, actually we want it better than where it used to be because it was actually already being controlled. It's been an entire system of control, carefully orchestrated in a way that people don't even notice they're being pushed and guided to make certain choices. It's like we don't want it to go back to anything like we've had where we're under the thumb of all these things that we are now able to clearly see.
Yep.
Right. You know what I was thinking about, Jimmy? Let me know if you might agree with this or I was thinking with all of this fraud that he's been finding out with Doge, with all of the tariffs that he plans on implementing. Do you and like the report said in the podcast that it will create that, that boom and bring manufacturing jobs back, etc. Do you think that Trump will have a surplus even bigger than Clinton? Because I do know that Clinton was the only other president that had a surplus rather than a deficit in the national debt.
I say that to be true, yes, because Trump has said many times on the campaign trail, he's told the story about how prosperous America was between 1870 to 1900. He said, we had more money than we knew what to do with.
Right. And he wants to make the individual more wealthy.
Exactly. So,
and the big power companies, like the one guy was saying about the Medici's and different ones, they're the ones behind or on the next tier up from the Rockefellers and the Warburgs and all the different ones that knew that they needed to do certain things to position the world, which is why they did the Titanic, to be able to get away from some of the people that were in opposition. And so whenever you realize that, like Jimmy said, in the 1800s, these things were forming then.
Right. I think this is going to be the biggest in history that I think we will have. Like it changes everything. Like after Trump, even after Trump, it might change forever.
That's what I've been telling y'all.
No, but I mean, like it's actually hitting me. Like, oh my God, this is way bigger than Trump.
This is why I get so frustrated with people that just want to focus on Trump and Elon, because they're being narrow-minded.
Yes.
They're not thinking outside the box and what this will actually do, not just for Americans, but for people around the world.
Yes.
Because we got to remember, just like World is a Stage said, that central bank system is not federal. It's not a reserve, and it's infiltrated hundreds of countries.
Yep.
Wow.
Just like Watchtower, that started in the United States, but has infiltrated many countries.
Yes.
Same concept, same playbook.
Wow.
Good point. Good point. Love it.
I think there was a clip that I wanted to play. It was about.
I love these shows.
Yeah.
I love doing these shows.
And it's with your favorite girl, Pocahontas. Alex Jones.
I had somebody earlier this week call you Rosie Perez.
Oh Lord, I've heard it all. I think I've heard it all at this point.
I'm sure you have.
Okay, Jimmy, did you see this? Elizabeth Pocahontas Warren confronted by reporter for making $12 million on a $200K salary in Congress.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, and I don't remember who said it or who's gonna do it, but they were like gonna combat that type of fraud. Like if you are, it was Elon. He said that if you're worth more than what you're actually making with your salary, then they were coming after you, basically.
Here's another thing. The U.S. aid, and that's how it's not USAID. It's just U.S. aid.
I know that now.
Yeah, it's only 1% of the federal government spending.
Wow, that's crazy.
Let that sink in.
That's
how
crazy.
much corruption have we seen in the past week for 1% of what the federal government's doing?
That's why I say there will be no lack. There's no financial reason for it to be this way.
Exactly.
And you know how you said in the 1800s, going into the 1900s, well, they created the Great Depression in 29, or what was the year they did the Depression? The early 1900s.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it was 1829 to like 1935 or whatever that was. Because you had the stock market crash in 29.
They created that.
Yeah, of course they did.
They created it.
I believe that.
It wasn't because we were a poor country. They created it on purpose.
And a lot of people died.
And here's the reason why. Because the central bank fiat system is only designed to last about 30 to 40 years. So if you think about the time period, let's see, they started in 1913. Let's go 30, 40 years. You're in World War II. Let's go another 30, 40 years, 35, 40. You're in the Vietnam War. Now let's go a little bit further. Now you're in the war in Afghanistan.
Wow, that's interesting.
So and that's what they do, is they have to create these wars so they can prop up their central bank fiat system.
And launder money too, like we've seen with Ukraine.
Exactly. So if folks think U.S. aid was bad, wait until they do the Department of Education, the the Pentagon, the Federal Reserve, and CPS. And then wait. I'm going to tell you now, y'all can write it down now. Wait till you find out that your tax dollars were used to fund child trafficking.
Oh, hell no. No, people are going to die at this point.
Mark it down. Timestamp it.
No.
Mark it.
Oh, no. We need public executions at that point. Like, I'm already upset that we still got to pay taxes. I want to see.
Just wait. I'm telling you, it's coming.
I just want my money back.
Exactly. Like, give us our money back. And Trump did talk about that, right? Or like it was like talked about that they should.
Yeah, he did.
Give us our money back.
This is why this is why there's a lot of people say the best is yet to come, because if what we've been told happens, then there will be a huge refund to American citizens.
Oh, it's lit, Tony. It's lit.
Now, I'm not going to tell you to mark that down and bookmark it. But let's just say it could happen.
You shot it out the sky, Jimmy.
But I'm telling you, the child trafficking thing in your taxpayer dollars, it's coming. Watch.
Okay, I just want to play this clip.
That's not really a big surprise, though.
I'm gonna play this clip for you, Tony.
Well, for a lot of people, it will be.
I like seeing the Democrats getting heckled, so let's play it.
Senator Warren, why are you so afraid of transparency? Why are you bothered by the fact that Elon Musk is attempting to expose all of this fraudulent spending? What is that about? What is the problem here? What is the problem with transparency? Do not touch me. Do not touch me. Senator Warren, I just want to answer a question. How did you get a $12 million net worth on a $200,000 salary in poverty. How did you do that?
What the hell
And
is
she's
that?
a fake. Just like she said she was an Indian, and she wasn't an Indian. You have more Indian blood in you than she has. She went to college based on the fact that she was an Indian. She got jobs based on the fact that she was an Indian. She's a fake.
Yep. There you go. You see, she took advantage of DEI, claiming she was a freaking Indian when she's not. That's a perfect example of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a perfect example. So you
That's
see,
what we call. That's what we call a mic drop right there.
One thing I want to say in fairness, because you made the comment, and I know you're new to I don't know if you're having trouble saying the word politics, if that's a bad word right now on your channel, but I'll be careful how I say it. But it didn't just start with Democrats, and
Nope.
it didn't end with Republicans, and we all have to completely remember that.
Yep.
That they're both the same arms,
Yep.
and they're both the same legs, and and so that's part of the agenda and the narrative to turn people against each other so they can team up. It's like a team
100%.
sport type of thing. And whenever we get lost or people start getting lost in that scope, then you're falling into their program. You're falling into their narrative. You have to be really careful about that, because Democrats used to be the good party. And Republican, under the, which hopefully we will learn pretty soon, 9/11 under the Bush administration, what was planned and executed during that time period to do another war. They told, they decided, and Bush was also a type of a puppet too. He wasn't the mastermind. A lot of the people that sit behind the desk are the puppets of those deciding what our world is going to look like. They give them the narrative, and then they give it to the media, and the media repeats the same concept. They repeat the same thing.
Yep.
Right. And that comment you made that the Democratic Party used to be good, I would even challenge that, because they were in defense of slavery even back in the day. So
that is true.
I would argue that none of them were actually good or bad from the beginning to the end or the middle. I don't really care. All of them, I would throw it away.
I think what people need, a simple way for people to remember what's going on right now. This is not and I've said it hundreds of times, this is not a battle between left and right.
Right.
This is a battle between right and wrong.
Yes.
Right. And I was telling Tony about this when
So
I talk about my ideology about Christian nationalism. It's like sometimes people get radicalized either way because how demoralized our society has become, that it makes people like us have what may be perceived as extremist views. So that's why when I talk about my stuff, I kind of I veered this way because of the society that I see. I want to make it great again in terms of our society. Our culture has been destroyed in the midst of all these wars going on with the deep state. Where are we left? We are left in pieces and shreds. We don't even know who we are anymore.
Yep. And I agree with World as a Stage. It's evil. It's good versus evil.
Good versus evil. Yeah.
It totally is. And that's why, we're still in the process of right now of uniting America. A lot of it's been united. We've seen that with, Trump getting in and all the votes he got and the mandate he's got. Right. So this other stuff that people are going to be seeing that were against Trump, they're going to see things that they're going to be like, holy crap. And they're eventually going to come to his side.
I agree with that.
Whether you like him or not, you're not going to like the evil that you've been shown.
Right.
So, and all you need is the majority of the people. And there's some people out there. There's about, like we said before, 4 to 6% of the population will never wake up no matter what you show them.
Right. I believe that.
It's my parents.
Well, never say never, but there will be a group of people that even at the finish line, they're still going to believe the lies.
I don't get it.
That's because the polysorbate 80.
Wait, what? Say that one more time.
It's because of the polysorbate
The pickles, Tony.
It goes back to the pickles.
Exactly. Yep. Unfortunately, we don't know about that until we're educated and we've been.
You and I both. We've
our life. I'm toasted up here. That's it. I'm toasted. I'm done.
Now, Tony, imagine all of that and then trying to force children to sit 8 hours a day in a public school system where they get bullied, where they're eating garbage.
No, and that school lunch is disgusting.
Disgusting.
I make lunch for my kid every single day.
Yeah.
Because I don't want him eating that crap.
And you know what? I just saw a video on X. I don't know if Jimmy saw this, but I don't know if it was a mother or a teacher. She was inquiring about who was funding the school lunches, and it was the DOD.
Yes, I saw that.
School lunches. What the hell is that?
What's the DOD?
Department of Defense.
Department of Defense, right? Isn't the War Department?
Yeah.
So what the hell are they doing funding school lunches? I do not see the correlation between the DOD and the DOE.
They're treating it like a military thing. What the hell?
No, I think that they're funneling money. Somehow it's gotta be fake. It's gotta be fraud or something because I don't see the correlation.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to schools and sitting all day in school, I don't believe that's the way kids should be being brought up and being
They
taught.
shouldn't. No.
Yeah, all freaking day.
Yeah.
I can't do it myself. And
100. Yeah.
Let alone a child. I'm finding it hard to do as an adult. Well, I mean, literally every 5 to 10 minutes, I got to get up and
yeah. Exactly.
And
it's all about conditioning.
Yeah, it's very sad. Yeah. And the thing is, they're making them obese. They're making them sick. It's all affecting their learning process and their ability to retain information. Listen, my son comes home to me and his homework, I look at it, I'm like, okay, this looks simple. And he tells me, I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What?
When he spent all day in school, supposedly learning how to do it, he don't know how to do it.
You don't know how to do it? I'm confused right now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, my 4 grandkids, well, only 3 of them are homeschooled now. And Lily, y'all know Lily. I've talked about Lily before.
Yeah.
That girl is smart as sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
And she's been out of public school now for 3 years. And so she asked me tonight, she said, Papu, she says, I need some help with factor trees. And I'm like, okay, what you got going on? And I told her about prime numbers, and she was able to explain to me what a prime number was. And I'm like, you got to break that number down to just prime numbers of what can be divided into it. She said, oh, okay, that's easy. And she freaking did it.
By herself.
By herself.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
12
I love homeschooling.
12 years old.
I'm happy.
I mean, my son is turning 8, but still, I mean, for him to come home from school after 8 hours, I went to the teacher. I said, "Are you giving him homework that you're not teaching him in the school? Why is it my son is coming home and I gotta reteach him how to do his homework?"
Yeah. What was Steph gonna say?
Go ahead, Steph.
I was gonna say I have 6 grandkids.
Oh wow.
Well, one I've never been able to meet because I'm being shunned. But my other ones I was very close with before I left the religion 3 years ago. And I'm happy to say they're all, well, I don't know about my one daughter's kids, but my daughter who has 4 kids, all homeschooled. They're all homeschooled, and my other daughter, I'm not sure because when I left he wasn't in school yet, so I don't know what's going on with them. But yeah, I mean, it's sad because I don't get anything. I don't get to and I was very close with my kids and my grandkids, like super tight with my grandkids. Like I can't even imagine what they told my grandkids. Like where did they called me Dapper? I don't know why.
Oh my God, you're breaking my heart. I'm sorry.
But they called me Dapper, and we were so close. I can't imagine where I don't know what they told my kids. My grandkids, where did Dapper go? Where did she? I don't know what they told them. It's sad, really sad. But I am happy on a positive note. I don't want to get into that story, but on a positive note, they were all being homeschooled last I knew. And I'm absolutely sure they still are, because my kids are very, into natural stuff like me and homeschool and all that. So, I'm very proud of that. Very proud of them. Very proud of that I can say that my kids are very, even though last I know, they're witnesses. I don't know. They're not very devout. I can tell you that. That's a story I won't get into. But they're, I'm glad your kids, Jimmy, your grandkids are being homeschooled too. I do believe it's the better way to go. If you do that.
Well, it totally is, because you're bypassing that MK Ultra brainwashing program.
Yes.
That the schools in. And if folks got to remember, back in 1978, the United States was listed as the #1 educated country in the world. Department of Education started in 1979. We are now the 24th most educated nation in the world.
Yeah.
Tell me what the problem is. Department of Education.
I think so. Yeah, I was telling Tony, give it back to the
And
state.
I'm telling, and they're getting audited right now. And I'll go ahead and say this, mark this down. Department of Education will be abolished.
Yeah. I think this is a really good one.
It will be abolished.
I would homeschool my kid if New York was a state that promoted that and supported that.
I think if New York State does, but not the city, because when I was in the city, they told me I cannot homeschool without the jabby jab.
So again,
New York State.
Pokey pokey.
The state, I think the state, yes, but for some reason in the city, maybe it was misinformation, maybe they were fear mongering me, but they were telling me that I couldn't homeschool my kids because it was illegal in the city, and that I would have to go to school.
It's that you can do it in the city. Is that you have to pay for all the supplies yourself. They don't give you. You know how the school gets money. For the supplies, that money won't come to us.
But that's not what they said. That's what I'm telling you. They probably lied to me because they tried to make me feel
my brother's homeschooled, and he's been homeschooled for a long time.
And this is why Trump has repeatedly said that the money should follow the children.
Of course.
And it needs to go back to a state level. It doesn't need to be federalized. That's why the Department of Education will be gone. And then again, think about how many billions of dollars that's going to save the United States taxpayer.
Yeah.
Because wait till you see what they waste that money on.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
it's a fun time to be alive, everybody.
Yeah. And that's why it's so important about school choice, parental authority. Give it back to the states, give it back to the parents. You don't need the federal government for those things. We need to shrink government and give that power back to the states, because in Florida, that's when I found out that each child gets about $10,000 as through the DOE to the teachers, and the teachers are the ones who are supposed to buy the supplies for each student. How many students are in one class? Like 10, 15, 20, and each of
30.
them are 10, even 30. But in Florida, the classes are a little smaller, so it's like 10 to 15 kids in one class, and then they break up, they divide, or they
wait. In a regular class, there's about 20 to 30 kids.
Yeah.
Well, in Florida, our classes were not that big because they would break them off. So they had like connecting classes, and then you would bring a group over here, a group over there. So Florida, they did it a little bit different, but either way, it was like 15 kids here, 15 kids there, and then they bring it together. It's like 30. So each kid at $10K a pop, is a lot of freaking money. They had iPads, computers, they had every Apple product you could think of. They were giving these kids electronics in their faces, and they were all learning through a screen because they have to use that money.
Was that in Tampa? Was that in Tampa?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa. Yeah.
Because I mean, in my day, we definitely had 30 kids in a class. I'm also Floridian, born and raised. And in the southern part of the state, you had better schools than in the northern part or the more rural areas. And when Jimmy, when you were talking about bringing it back to the state level, was in the 60s and 70s, was it on state level or federal level? Do you happen to know?
State level, because it didn't start until 1979.
So I would hope that states that are having a problem, like for example, when I was in school, I was that you had the Christian school and you had the public school, and the public school is where I went, and we were like the second lowest in the whole state. So my education as a child growing up was really considered very poor, and compared to other states, or like an example in terms of like how some people know their times table and how to divide and subtract and all that stuff. I didn't even get to learn that because in my school system, it's a good thing I had some common sense and I was able to figure some things out because we didn't learn it in school. And then when the schools integrated, which was in fifth going into sixth grade, there was a need to also lower the level of what they were teaching because you had a lot of those that were going to the black school. They were also suffering from that. We just didn't have the advantages in the northern part of the state of Florida at that time. We,
wow. That's interesting.
I know you're northern, but where exactly?
What was that?
Where exactly in Florida? I know you said northern, but where?
There's a little town called Monticello, Florida, right on the Georgia border between Tallahassee and Thomasville. Tallahassee, the capital, and Thomasville.
Okay. Interesting.
Oh, wow. Very interesting. But that's when I found out that the teachers were getting all that money for each and every student now, modern day. That's a lot of money that they have to use up. And if you don't use it, the funds would roll over. So so you will always have supplies. So that's why it used to make me think how all that propaganda that teachers were paying out of their pocket for this or their pocket for that. I'm like, so who's mismanaging the money? Because the money's there regardless.
Exactly.
So why are the teachers acting like that?
Yeah, it pisses me off to know that part of my property tax goes to funding schools. And then I have to hear that when the kids, have to start school the new year, they've got to buy like 30 boxes of tissues.
Yeah. What is that about?
16 scissors.
What is that about?
That's fake news. That's fake news because you don't have to do that. The teachers get the funding for each kid. So when I found that out, I said, oh, hell no. And then I found out that, Florida has school choice and the scholarships. And that's when I applied for the scholarships. And now I get that money directly to homeschool my children the way I want to.
That's impressive.
The best way that I'm like, every state should do this. The parents should have the choice in what curriculum you're going to use, how you're going to teach them. If you want to hire a tutor, the tutor comes to my house twice a week to do her lessons with the kids because I have full control over that. Despite disabilities or learning disabilities, they even give funding for kids who are special needs. That's how it should be. That's where our taxes should be going. No more income taxes.
Love that. Love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love
I love Michelle and Doreen in the comments. They are also homeschooling minded. Michelle says she homeschools her son. And Doreen says, like about the prices. Even if you wanted to send them to a Christian private school, you would have to pay almost like what she said, a couple $1,000s, and it is expensive, but it's private. So if you're not gonna deal with all this public shenanigans that they were doing with the whole pride stuff and all of these celebrations that they were having in public school. So
putting litter boxes in classrooms.
Right. No, that's a red line. That is a red line.
Tampons in the boys' bathroom.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, no. You see, that's where it gets me angry. That I'm like, listen, I don't care. I want.
Are you kidding me? Stop playing.
Yeah, they did it in Minnesota, in Michelle State. In Michelle State. Yes, they did it.
Stop it.
You didn't know that?
That was Kamala's
No,
VP.
I did not know that.
That's part of DEI.
VP. Mm-hmm. He was the governor in was it Minnesota she's from?
Yeah, Tim Walz.
Oh, that's right. Tampon Tim.
That's why they call him Tampon Tim.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
He was a sick puppy, let me tell you. I know you all know that story that went around that they found they found the real news clips.
Oh gosh. I know what you're talking about.
Don't talk about the horse.
Yeah. Let's not talk about the horse. I'll tell Tony in private.
I don't know.
Something. A comment for Jimmy. From Becky. She said, "Soylent Green is people." Remember that? Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
I've not watched the movie, but I know about it. Yeah.
Soylent Green is a movie. If y'all remember the actor Charlton Heston. Yeah, thank you. He was probably in his maybe 50s, and so he's like 90 now. So that's how long ago it was. And it was a society where people had to put in requisitions for everything. It was a 1984. It was before 1984 that book and then the movie. It was where the society was controlled, and they made it so that people were letting themselves be suicided, or they had a fancy name for it. But basically, they could choose when they were going to leave, and they made it this thing where they thought it was going to another place, and then they end up finding out that they were getting melted down and turned into the food that everybody was eating.
Yeah.
So it was.
Oh my!
What the McDonald's?
That's a documentary or is it a movie?
No, it's a movie.
Oh, okay.
So it's not real, right? It's a movie.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It depends upon how you view it.
What do we learn about movies?
We're gonna have to see that movie, Tony. Movie night on Discord.
That's why I don't eat McDonald's.
I know.
Oh, and if you want to watch another little thing, my wife just started watching it on Hulu. For those that have Hulu, I haven't watched it yet, but she's been telling me about it. It's called Paradise.
Paradise.
Yeah. It's on Hulu, and the name is Paradise, and it's where they have a city built underneath a mountain to mock what it would look like on top, because there was this big catastrophe where everybody on top disappeared. Mm-hmm. And so they had to create a city, and the city can only hold 25,000 people. I haven't watched it yet, but she's been telling me about it. Sounds very interesting.
Okay. So we'll check it out.
Paradise on
It's
Hulu.
a movie or a show?
It's a show. She's watched 4 of them, and I think the 5th one comes out this week, so it's fairly new.
Stephanie, you got to come closer to your mic so we can hear you.
The JWs should watch that.
Okay. 2 comments I want to bring up before I show another clip from Teddy. He says Trump should serve indefinitely, especially after the Dems' crimes and utilization of the DOJ. And then he says, but guys, what if the Dems win in 2028?
I think about it.
We're living in very unprecedented times. Anything can happen. Trump may not leave for a little while.
And the world might be completely different in 2028.
Yeah. Remember, okay, Trump, when he says stuff, he doesn't say stuff just to be saying it. I think we can agree with that. You know, he called the fake news fake news. What do we find out is fake news? Pretty much everything he said, there's a reasoning behind what he said. So he said maybe it could be 12 years, 16 years. He has said it. And again, if you go back and let's say if you wanted to consider that we left the corporation and Trump and we're in the continuity of government, meaning we technically don't have a president, we have a commander in chief. So once the republic is made public and there's new election, then he could serve for 2 more years because he technically, constitutionally, he was the commander in chief and not the president under the republic.
Wow.
So that's open for debate, but there's a reason.
Mine's blowing up.
Yeah, minds are blowing right now. Because especially what if
I missed that, so my mind isn't blowing. But
yeah, what if they came out and told everybody that 2020 was fake, phony, and false? Shouldn't he?
We've entertained the theory before, so
yeah, we've entertained it. Yeah, so
crazy. I never thought about this. Oh my god!
Shouldn't he get his 4 years?
Yes.
And he's always said, when a thief steals the diamond, he said this, when a thief steals a diamond, they have to give the diamond back.
Good point. I know that Michelle might disagree with this, but I'm interested, Michelle, if you would like to share your thoughts in the chat, if you don't agree with that theory. But I like, if I'm not, and I'm not Q, I don't follow that. But I would say with a little common sense that I have, if you do the research about the fraud that happened in 2020, and I'm not going to go into it because I'm on probation.
Yeah.
But everything that illegitimate president did would be automatically vetoed, like erase it. Everything that he's ever done, just erase all of it and give the time back to the current, the real winner, which is our current president. So it would make sense to me that might be possible if we can really definitively prove 2020.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, and with the support of the Supreme Court, we can move forward. And that's just like my opinion.
Yeah.
So you're saying that he would get an extra 4 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes
right.
sense.
That's what I would agree with that, right? Because
it's only fair.
Well, I mean, it's legal. It's legal because what happened was illegal. So it would be legal for him to take that, and nobody would question that because we would have the proof.
Right. And you wouldn't have to worry about any blowback or him not winning it or getting it and having the support because we just gave him a mandate. So that information comes out, people are going to be like, of course, give it back to him. He'll have that support. So the deep state is screwed here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bouncing off of what he said in terms of the deep state being screwed, my mind goes a lot more expansive in terms of some out there subjects. And so imagine if we didn't have this system, because you know how as XJWs we used to always talk about a new system, a new world order. We used to talk about all that stuff, but did we ever really think what that looked like? Basically, we were taught it was a world outside of politics, a world outside of the crime. So kind of think about that a little bit. And in terms, thank you, Jeff. Thank you. In terms of one of the things that, and I think it was announced today, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Jimmy. Who was the lady, Jeff, that came out? She's for Florida. Luna something or another.
Anna Paulina.
She came out. Yeah, she came out and she was saying the things that they're going to give information about. And of course, all of those different subjects, 9/11, all that stuff. Did anybody notice what he mentioned in there in terms of the UAP, UFO?
No,
I saw where she was going to be putting head. She was going to take the lead on those certain things. The JFK, the Epstein. And what about the UAP?
The UFO disclosure, the concept of that.
Was that list?
Right. They mentioned it. They mentioned it as one of the subjects that they're really going to go into. And if they really do go into that, and and we really have real disclosure that basically shows that we don't have a need at all for global poverty or hunger or anything, because there's so much technology and advancements that are beyond what anybody has any concept of. That is part of why things have been hidden since the 40s and 50s. That's part of why that whatever that treaty is called, where they wouldn't allow inventions to be what's that you know the one, Jimmy.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name right now.
So all these things were a lot of more stricter control was set into place, because that's when they started interacting with beings more so from other galaxies and other dimensions and other planets. And the concept is that moving into potentially 2028, they're not going to be just potential orbs or drones or a little bit here and there. It's going to be the big ships. Because the little ones, the government has the ability, when I say the government, let me classify that better. Those who are in these projects that are above normal government's knowledge, okay? Those are the ones that have back engineered these various devices that all these drones, and making it look like, it's alien, when in actuality, it's our own stuff. There are some that are extraterrestrial, and our society has learned how to contact in a mind, thought, telepathy, conscientious thing, and then they're able to hit it with that craft with a scalar wave or a energy weapon of sorts, and take these down. And it's amazing that they haven't really wiped us all off the planet, because humans are proving themselves to be really troublesome. And so they're patient because they know we're waking up slowly.
Yeah, I'm laughing because of Teddy.
Is he dying what I'm saying?
He's just saying, are we seriously talking about aliens here?
Yeah, it really shifted
I
right
really
there.
don't understand what people have against talking about aliens.
I know. Real quick, I had a thought. If what Lily was saying was actually the route that's going to happen, then we can circle back all the way to the beginning of this video when we played the little conspiracy thing on the last president.
Thank you. And if I know people have heard of Lemuria and Atlantis. I know you guys have heard these terms. And so they were supposed to be these ancient civilizations that were far advanced and super peaceful and loving, and they had all these
more than aliens. Respectfully, I would believe the civilizations rather than the alien theory.
So how about this? We are aliens. We are part of the galactic universe. We're in a body that's they call like a meat suit, or it's our avatar. Okay.
Yeah.
And
It's the late show on the political corner
It's the
now.
Art Bell Coast to Coast Rate Show.
Aliens,
We're gonna have to put a pin on this because I have so many thoughts about that.
I'm just waiting to say it. Go
We-
ahead.
we-
I have so much to say on this subject.
We need to do an Anunnaki episode.
There you go.
Yeah, we need to do it
Let's
again.
do it. Let's do it.
Well,
I mean,
I gotta log off here, guys. It's getting late. It's got way later for you guys, but
It's 12. It's 12:30.
I need to do something on my channel. Have you guys watched the telepathy tapes? The podcast telepathy tapes. It's a podcast you can find on all the platforms. I just listened to it on YouTube, but it's on Spotify and everything. Have any of you seen the telepathy tapes?
No, I haven't.
I haven't seen the telepathy tapes, but my cat and I are telepathic.
Oh my God. It's crazy.
I'm gonna tell you.
It's so it is mind-boggling, and it's so true. It's like, okay, so the reason I bring it up is because I'm gonna invite Ruby and Jimmy on my show on my channel we're gonna talk about the telepathy tapes because it is mind-blowing.
Can you send me a link in my messenger?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I tried to find your email, I think, and I couldn't find your email address or anywhere.
All right. You can send it to Operation Spotlight at yahoo.com.
Okay. Hold on. Let me write that down. Operation.
Yeah, Operation Spotlight at yahoo.com.
I'll put in the private chat too for you. It's a copy.
I'm gonna tell you, this telepathy thing, there's something to it.
Oh,
because ever since me and my wife have woke up to, out of the freaking matrix, our minds are insane. It's like tonight. I go to the grocery store and I thought, you know what? I think I'm gonna make spaghetti tonight. My wife comes home. She says, "What are we having for dinner?" I said, "Spaghetti." She says, I've been craving spaghetti for like 3 days. There will be things that we do is so weird because it's like, I tell her a lot of times, get out of my head.
Yeah, we were just speaking about that today. I have a twin, so like when we were younger, me and my twin, we used to have that, and it was so strong. It was actually creepy. Every time it would happen, like my hairs would stand up because I would be saying what she was thinking, or she would say what I was thinking, or a lot, like 70% of the time, we would say the same thing at the exact same time. It was the creepiest thing. And honestly, it's not the same because we drifted apart. There's that connection is not there no more, but it's just like, whoa.
Look what Shaq put in the comments. I wasn't laughing at Tony. I was laughing at the Shaq comment.
What did he say?
I can never sleep Tuesday night after Ruby's show. The shit keeps me up at night.
I know,
me too. I go to sleep like at 2 a.m. because of the show. Like it makes me think too much, and I'm wired up.
Mm-hmm.
So the stuff you guys are talking about, telepathy is and abilities and what is more up my alley. And what was that?
I want to hear about this from you.
Yeah, this is the subject. These are the subjects that when I came out of the religion, I became involved in. The concept of a lot of those television show or movies like the John Travolta Phenomenon and the Green Mile and all these really out there metaphysical. The term is called metaphysical, and basically, this is who we were. And so whenever they say we drank the cup of forgetfulness, it's like they wanted to really dumb us down so we couldn't remember how powerful we were.
Yep.
We couldn't. That way they could control us more. And that's why I saw there's a great commenter, in the chat, and I'm not familiar enough with the people. I heard somebody say her name, something about the world as the world goes.
Oh, that's Michelle. The world
Michelle. Okay, she makes the best comments. I was reading her comments. She's so
Yes,
she got it right. She's nailing it every time.
Yeah.
And so the fluoride in the water, there's reasons why. Like when Gio was talking about using the byproduct of these petroleums and stuff, the idea was about dumbing us down.
Yep.
And introducing more of the processed stuff as well as the information. It's like it was natural for people to be able to holistically heal or energetically heal.
Sound healing too.
Sound healing. Oh my gosh. It's like the vibration and when they talk about the Schumann resonance and you know, when people say raise your vibration, what do they mean by raising your vibration? Basically. And it's like all these subjects, anybody ever want to talk about that subjects? Yeah.
No, nobody call W. Do not call W because we will be here for days.
Yeah, no, yeah.
W.
And if you know who W is, you know you get the joke.
No, who is W? What is that?
Oh, I can't Lily.
So all this stuff I'm saying would be upsetting to him. Is that what it is?
No, he's blown right up your alley. He would agree 1,000%, and he will go all night with you because he's your guy. You and him could have a whole podcast together.
Well, I do occasionally talk on another person. She was on your show because when you talk about the Anunnaki, there was a lady, her name is Monica. Well, Monica knows. She studied because she got out of JW and she went down all the religious pathways. And then she went back to the ancient text and she went back beyond that and beyond that. And then she understands about the Anunnaki and then this all turns around to the concept of the Matrix. And like, are we in a simulation? I mean, do we live under a firmament? I mean, it's like, wait a minute. So did I do this before? Is that why I remember things from before? And why am I reincarnating, if they call it? Is it because I need to learn lessons? Or is it because my energy is being used by some really evil darkness that feeds off of our energy?
I'm telling you.
Stephanie, repeat yourself because your mic sometimes doesn't pick up the sound. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Little louder.
Oh gosh, that's weird. It's all right. My thought already passed.
Come on,
guys, I gotta head out, but this was awesome.
And, it's starting to get late.
Okay.
All right. Good night, King Tony.
My guys. I just want to say, you never know what this show is going to talk about. We can have a plan going in, but sometimes the plan gets thrown out the window, which is really good because we're talking in present, and that's what we need to be doing when you're having conversations with people. Have it, talk in the present, and so if you like the show. Let other folks know when we put it out, share it because, we want people to come on and interact with us. And I'm like, I feel like I'm speaking over Ruby because it's her channel, but you know what I mean.
Well, like the four of us that are here right now, I would love for us four to do a show on my channel about the telepathy tape. So please, I will email you. Empath Lady,
Jimmy,
I don't have your info.
I was going to say, do you have, I'd write it in here if I knew how to, but
you can find my email. It's stephwokeup@gmail.com.
Does Ruby or Jimmy have your contact?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So, Ruby can send you my cell phone. She can, she can send you my cell phone and that'd be great. And if you can send me the video, it may be one that I've seen or to be able to talk more about that.
Like listen to it before we go and talk about it. But
Yeah.
I would love for you. It's so mind blowing and fascinating. I would love to cover it on my channel, and we could just all get on there and talk about it like we are tonight. About the telepathy tapes. That's what it's called. The telepathy tapes, and it's a podcast. Yeah, but I'll email you all, and you know, you're listening to the right thing. But it's
sounds good.
Another XJW who was a pioneer actually told me about it, and she's
Who was that?
just a good friend of mine here locally. You don't know her. She's not a YouTuber or anything, but
okay.
Yeah, she's the one that told me about it recently. She was listening to it when some witnesses came to her door.
Wow.
She would answer it, and she's like, I had the telepathy tapes podcast playing when they knocked on my door, and I didn't she didn't answer the door, but she's like, how funny is that like they were like, what is she listening to?
I really don't think people understand, and I understand why, but people don't understand exactly how powerful we are.
Oh, and Jimmy, it just reminded me. Didn't you say your grandson has autism?
Yeah.
Okay, well, autism kids are the highest. They have the highest.
Yes.
Gift of telepathy.
Oh, I know. Bane, that kid. Oh my God, I love that kid. He's amazing.
It's because you learn to think differently. You whenever you are not so much in your logical mind or your logical head, and you are like an autistic child, they're internal. They're thinking internally. And so it's like you end up being able to realize it's a lot has to do with how you're able to be calm and still and not have any programs that, when I say programs, preconceived, oh no, you shouldn't do that. It's like telepathy is a pretty common thing.
Yes.
Animals.
Till recently, till I listened to this podcast, it's opened my mind to crazy stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
There's one thing that I look at every night before I go to bed, and it's GFL. It's a YouTube. See if you can find it, Ruby. It's on YouTube, and it's called GFL. GFL.
Let's see, YouTube.
And I know this might not be for everybody, but this is what I do. Okay.
GFL.
GFL.
Okay. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and then you can tell me.
So every night before I go to bed, I'll brush my teeth, get in bed, and then I'll play videos from GFL. Now I'll only play one, and I just listen to it, and it gives me so much more. There you go, right there, that one. Just go to the channel.
Oh, the GFL station.
Yeah, okay, station. Yeah, GFL station. So what I do is, depending on, what time I'm going to bed.
Beloved star seeds and all ground crew, I am Ashtar, commander of the Galactic Light Forces.
Turn what off?
And we are delighted to bring...
Oh, sorry, I don't have my headphones on.
Okay, yeah. So that's the channel, GFL station. And what I do is I go find the most recent video that they put out. And I usually just listen to that right before I go to bed. And I'm telling you, my dreams are so freaking vivid. I can get up and I can tell you every dream I have the following morning. They're so vivid and lucid.
Wow.
And yeah, I can tell you about last night's dream. It's crazy. Some Some of the things I get myself into is unreal. But anyway, but I think what this does, it helps open my mind up a little bit more and to realize that the existence we know as reality is bullshit.
Yes. Yes.
And when you get caught up arguing between left and right, and he's this and he's that, and you're existing on the 3D consciousness level.
Right.
Yes.
So when you wash away and you get rid of that and you start thinking bigger and you open your mind to things, then you start moving into what they call the ascension to a 5D level of consciousness.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why, personally, I don't have any anxiety. I don't freak out about things because I know that there's a higher power doing something.
Yep.
And I give into that. It's like with Operation Spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Monica had a conversation, and I said, "Hey, let's write a letter to the president." 6 days later, we have a letter. We have it promoted. It is out there. It is going in 6 days from idea to result. We believe
it's called manifestation, Jimmy. You're becoming a powerful manifester whenever you're able to put it in like you think it, you dream it.
Yeah. That's called being a creator. We are all creators.
Right.
And that's how powerful we are.
Interesting, Jimmy.
But I love that. They're usually about 16 to 20 minutes, but around the 10-minute mark, I start hearing myself snore. So I don't think I've made it through a whole video yet, but I get 10, 15 minutes, and then I just fall asleep.
Steph, I put my info in that. I don't exactly know where it is, but I put it in there somewhere.
Okay.
Okay. I emailed it to her already, so you should.
Oh, thank you, dear. Thank you.
It should be there.
I haven't checked my emails, but yeah, I'll contact you all, and then we'll I'll send you all the links to the podcasts, and so you can listen to it. And then I'm thinking, how fun would that be to do a video on my channel of us talking about it?
Yes, we'll love it. We'll love to.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming and joining.
Yeah, I gotta go now, guys.
All right. Good night.
It's nice to meet you, Stephanie.
Bye. Love y'all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, we're coming up on a 4-hour mark. Damn, we talk a lot.
Oh, hold on.
Full moon tonight. I have to go put all my crystals out.
There you go.
Oh, that's what Michelle was saying in the chat too.
Out over there in the full moon and let them charge up tonight. It's a full moon.
There you go.
But
Yeah.
I was going to say that is if the moon is real, or is it just a spaceship?
There's that too.
Thank God Tony left, because if you would have said that while she was here, she would have went on a whole tangent about how she took pictures of the moon.
My God.
And everything. Oh, let's not start.
There is an energy that comes from the moon. The moon does have an energy. It's just questionable whether or not if it's one that is able to, not everybody's able to take the energy of the moon.
Correct.
Interesting. Okay, we gotta dive into that on a whole episode dedicated.
Yeah, that's starting another hour, and we.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So before you leave, Jimmy, I was going to propose an idea that maybe we might have to do a show maybe twice a week instead of once a week if the topics and the chat and the viewership grows. I was gonna ask you if you're available for another day, or do you think we should just keep it once a week?
My wife knows that Tuesday nights is my night. So
okay.
if it was something that was quick, like if we only did like a 2-hour show and then a 2-hour show, then I could probably pull that off. I don't want to take a lot of time from because I do other things, but I wouldn't mind doing 2 a week. But let's just take a poll. Let's see what people say. I know Tuesday nights I can go as long as I want.
Yeah, me too. So that's why Tuesday was like the ultimate day for me. But I was thinking like King Tony or anybody else. I said, even if Jimmy can't do it, if anybody else wants to be a frequent co-host, I will also put a poll out there just to see if there's any interest. If you would like a second political corner, XJW, like this show, instead of once a week, twice a week, because there's just so much to cover that we always, it extends so long. So it just depends. I was going to ask you.
I think what we need to do, Ruby, is I think we need to, whatever news, I like the way it flows because we are talking in present. But if we want to get information out, news stories out, maybe what we should do is take the first hour and instead of having guests come on, and I'm just thinking out loud, y'all.
Yes.
Then we can go ahead and get through all of the talking points, everything that's come out. And then we can entertain the dialogue.
Okay, that's a better idea. That's why I was like, let me just ask Jimmy. He might have a better idea. That sounds good. So the first hour, we'll do that. And then we'll flood everybody in. Whoever wants to join the show can join it after that mark.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things. I mean, there's a lot of crap happening. Yeah. And, we've talked about a lot of subjects tonight, but we only talked about like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
In subject-wise, going into a 6 with the moon. But I think if we have an hour where we just basically do a news blitz, let's do a recap of all the things that have happened. Then we can open it up and people can talk about those things that we just talked about.
Yeah. Okay. Good idea. Wow. I'm so thankful.
And the only reason I say this, I'm kind of looking out for your energies here because you already do the JW News thing. You come in and you do some other videos and all. I just don't want to see you get burned out.
Good point. I didn't think about that. Because I have so much fun with it already that I was gonna ask you. But yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you to everybody in the chat. The chat was so alive tonight. I loved it.
How many numbers we had tonight? What do the numbers look like?
The highest was like 70 something.
Guys, we got to work on it. I want 100. Come on, let's get 100. I'm manifesting it.
One thing I've noticed that I don't see people, how you just look at other people's videos and everybody's got his comments. I notice a lot of people don't comment because everybody's participating live. But does that help? Does that help you get exposed more if you have more views, more comments for people to support it, to support the channel?
I think so. I think like the algorithm, that's why I've had.
And I saw Shaq made a comment about 2-hour shows are great because the 4-hour shows can get long. Yes, I understand they can get long. Whenever I see somebody with a 4-hour show, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not watching that. It's going to take me 3 days to get through that.
Yeah.
But if we dedicate like an hour to say, okay, y'all, here's what's going on. And then those viewers that want that information,
right,
they've gotten it. And if they want to stay on, they can and hear the rest of everything we talk about. But at least we've gotten a lot of information out pretty quickly.
Yes, because the algorithm is looking at live chats and then the live viewer count. But as soon as I end the live, it'll pop over to like 100, 200. So they're probably not showing me the real numbers while I'm live. I don't know.
Yeah, and if you ask your audience that's live, whenever they like the next day, if they make a comment or something, that's what I would like to see on your behalf, is that more people are making comments that were on the live. Go back the next day, make a comment so that it helps when people are looking, they see a lot of comments and they like to read what other people had to say. And honestly, your people that were talking here, my gosh, everybody had amazing things to say. I mean, really, they wanted to cover a lot of subjects. So many of them are very knowledgeable and they can make great comments.
Yeah, you can watch the replay of a live chat, but a good thing about the 4 hours, even though I understand what everybody's coming from, is that people will come back to continue watching or rewatch it. And that also is analytics for the channel. That people, the watch hours is when people come back, they click back and they watch from where they left off and they keep watching. So it's all good. There's nothing wrong with the time frames or anything. I just wanted to pitch it to see what Jimmy thought about it. But I like that idea better because then after that hour, people can hop off and leave. And then for the late night people who want to really dive in, can dive in because I can stream for this long.
So I think that actually cures two things, you know, for the person that doesn't want to stay for the whole, because they may be on for 3 hours and waiting. Oh God, what are they going to talk about next? What are they going to bring up next? Are they going to talk about? Are they going to talk about what I want them to talk about?
Right.
And don't, and then we disappoint the viewer. So by blocking off a time period where it's just the news, this is what's happened. What's going on, and then we can put a lot into that.
Right. Yeah. And then I also put in the description the Discord server link to join the XJW Political Corner. And then on Discord, I usually ask people, what do you want to talk about? If there's anything you want me to bring up. So you can also have instant messaging conversations with us on the server. Like if you wanted to get a little bit more personal, click that link on Discord and then you'll be able to text us.
And we'll have so many things that we could bring out in the news part of it that people can take notes and then they can come back in the chat or they can come on and be like, hey, let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. So that I think that would work.
Yes. Or like how Rick Fearon, he ends a stream and then he starts a new one and then he starts a new one and a new one. And he has like 5 different shows in one night. I mean, the ideas are endless, but it works.
Yeah.
It works. Okay, I think we covered everything so far that I had for tonight. Whatever we didn't, I'm gonna roll it over to next Tuesday. Because we didn't even talk about the South Africa thing. I wanted to go deep dive into that one. And I think there was the video with Kash Patel. I found it. So next Tuesday I'll show you that clip. He talks about how to, destroy the deep state or like clean it up, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, wow. Thank you to Steph, to Empath Lady, King Tony, Gigi, Jimmy. We had a lot of people join us on the stage. Thank you so much for joining. Yeah. And everybody in the chat. Amazing interactions. That's what I love. I love to talk to people live, face-to-face, live chat, going over your chats on Wild too. Hi, Wild. He says an 8-day international online convention. Oh, he's funny.
I remember the 8-day conventions.
I'm looking at the comments and I see people liking the idea of dedicating a time and then doing just the late after talk.
Yes, I like that idea. So I'm gonna tell King Tony, and because she was the one really like, we gotta do more of this, and I'm like, I love it, but I mean, we're dealing with real people here. Not that everybody has our schedule, because we're flexible, like I homeschool, I don't work. So I could stream whenever. It's just, I would like to accommodate for everybody.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Next Tuesday on the XJW Political Corner. Bye, guys.
I'm a gun throwing patriot, God being patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. Gun toting patriot, God being patriot. Pricing why they mad, cause I'm really Navy faking it. Free speech advocate, it's on my mind, I'm saying it. I'm about to buy another gun and ain't nobody taking it. I'm all red.
MAGA flags waving through the South like we just want 4 more years. Democrats can't get right. Trumping with that Yeezy flow. Don't go broke on Sleepy Joe. Make America great again.